like that song. I ran across that song. It's one of those free that you could use on YouTube that are
better be. I don't want to be committing felonies now.
Right. Especially since they've passed all these acts. Right. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there are now all these new streaming laws that are about to go into place with these omnibus bills and with the COVID relief. So if you do illegal streaming of music or movies on Twitch, boom, yeah. So fortunately, we went to YouTube's approved list of stuff, and they were cool, and it's all good. But hey, everybody, how you doing? We got a packed room today, but wanted to say hello and welcome everybody to another conversation about Star Wars. We're going to be doing some Christmas talk today. But first off, let me introduce myself. My name is Shaun. I am part owner of Pop Cycle Baubles. The other half of Pop Cycle Baubles is right over that way, which is my lovely wife, Miss Laura, Dr. Mrs. The Awesome. Hey, sweetie.
Hello.
Now, Laura,
your go live notification because it still says we're talking about the election.
Wait, is this? Wait,
I don't wanna.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about the election. Yeah, Laura, go fix that.
I'm fixing it right now.
Get over it.
Yeah, look, it's over. Okay, we're not talking about the election at all.
I'm gonna leave.
Are inside of the chat room. So if anybody wants to say anything, Laura will try to respond. I will as well. Of course, if you do have questions, feel free to say hello. But let's go ahead and introduce everybody else. To Laura's screen left, you saw her on Thursday where we talked about some Star Wars. We talked about some other stuff. And we caught up after not being on the air for 2 years. And that is my girl, Brittany. Hey, Brittany, what's up?
What's up? I'm just hanging out over here with my laggy computer in my Grumpy Bear onesie.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Aww.
That is adorable.
Grumpy Bear.
That is adorable.
I know, thanks. I did this just for you.
I'm not cool enough to have a Care Bear onesie. I need this now.
You need an Eeyore onesie.
Oh, Laura does need an Eeyore onesie.
Yes,
damn it, Christina. Why did you come up with that idea a couple weeks ago? I could have probably found her one for Christmas.
Because I didn't see Brittany in her grumpy onesie.
Right, so we blame Brittany then. It's all Brittany's fault.
I didn't know the onesies were happening. I should have gotten my Gizmo one on.
There's a Gizmo
I know.
onesie?
I'm saving my onesie.
I have a Wonder Woman onesie, and it would match my Wonder Woman hat.
You know what? It's time to wrap the show. We'll be back in 20 minutes.
Oh, we got to go get our pajamas. I'll go get my Skeletor Snuggie on. And
don't even say you have a Skeletor Snuggie.
I got him one for Christmas.
So Christina,
it needs to happen.
It's made for normal people, so it was too small for me because I'm very tall and very broad. And so Laura actually extended it out, made it into a super snuggie. So it's massive now. So yeah, I love it. It's a great snuggie.
I mean, we can disappear one by one, and the rest of us can vamp. I mean, it's fine.
Let me go ahead and introduce everybody. The woman who gave me my snuggie and made it awesome and whatnot, my buddy Christina. Hey, Christina.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi. I'm doing very well. How you doing?
Like the Brady Bunch.
Right, I know. Like the Brady Bunch. Hey, how's it doing? Oh, yeah. So let me see. That means that over here down in that direction would be our other guest. And you probably recognize her from Pop Con Con. That's my buddy, Miss Anastasia Washington. Hey, hon.
Oh, it's me. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
I'm eating saltine crackers and ginger ale. And I'm not sick.
I was about to say, are you sick? Because that's a total, I'm feeling a little, ooh.
No, I just like them.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, so we're actually here today because we were talking about Star Wars last week, and I knew that I was going to be doing a broadcast tonight with Anastasia because she wasn't able to join us for the Star Wars conversation last week. And during the conversation last Thursday, we basically said, oh my God, we're just hours away from the finale of Mandalorian Season 2. So I basically just kind of told everybody, hey, do you want to do a Mando recap on Tuesday? And the affirmatives were plentiful. So there was a lot of hell yeah. But yeah, so we decided that we're going to talk a little about Mandalorian. But before we get into that, a couple things. First off, let's see how everybody's doing. Let's kind of catch up with everybody because it's been a little while since other people have been on. And also, let's say hello to some of the folks who are out there. Cat Gangster, it has been a while since we've seen you. Cat Gangster is over in Europe, so when we're broadcasting, it's usually like the butt crack of night. For them, so
the
obviously,
butt crack of night. Wow,
and you know where the butt crack of night is. So we're talking that midnight.
The darkest part of the night.
It is.
Are you talking about my butt? Because I take umbrage for that.
Wait, I thought he's like 2 p.m. But it's like I thought it was like I thought it was like 2 a.m. or something over there. 2 p.m. That's nothing. Take a nap. So
it's 2 p.m. like in the afternoon.
I think that math is wrong. There's no way.
No, your math is way wrong.
Isn't it 9 out? Okay,
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't want to do math right now.
I know. Okay. So they maintain.
I don't feel like it.
So, anyways, how's everybody been doing? Has anything interesting been happening to folks? Anastasia, we haven't seen you for like months. Like, what's been going on for you?
Well, I did my one-woman show, so that was, I feel like I could breathe, and then they asked me to do it again in March, so now I can't breathe.
Oh, no! Because if they're asking you back, that means that it was a big hit, right?
It went really well. I think I dropped some truths. People like that saw it, my friends and stuff were like, wow, you're live. How? And I was like, yes. So.
It's true. Can you tell everybody what actually the show is about? Because you've told me about it privately, but I don't think we've ever actually discussed it on the air before. So tell everybody a little bit about what it is.
Yeah, it's called 50 Shades of Mixed, Confessions of Your Ethnically Ambiguous Best Friend. And it's about my childhood growing up biracial and being in the industry and how that just like affected me and just stories and stuff like that. But it goes pretty deep. There's some serious stuff. Like a highlight for most people, and this is going to sound weird, is I went to a neo-Nazi birthday party when I was a kid, and then they found out I was Black, and so it's in there.
All right.
It's in there.
Wow.
It's in there. Yeah.
I didn't know about the neo-Nazi part. That's intense.
Yeah. We're not friends on Facebook or anything, but
well, I would hope not. Like. You know what? Honestly, I think the story would be even more interesting if somehow you had maintained that friendship all the way into your adulthood. And you're like, oh yeah, we're Facebook friends. Yeah,
No.
I'm like,
unfortunately, or fortunately.
Unfortunately, nobody needs that kind of negativity like at all.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's just like little things like that about being really honest about growing up biracial and also growing up in the industry and how that is. So yeah, it's just. That's what it's about. You will laugh and cry, probably.
Beautiful.
And you'll want cake at the end.
Yes. And it is funny though. It's like also like a comedy routine, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Yes, there's comedic elements and there's serious elements. Sometimes I think a little bit of white guilt is hard to laugh through some of the parts, but I am sorry.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I think that one of the things that we should do in general is we should be comfortable with our own discomfort. You know, we should actually have that ability. And I think that the more comfortable we are with that and saying like, oh yeah, that is kind of crappy that happened. You know, like I think it's always better. We've talked about that a lot through Pop Con through the election season. Lord knows we talked about it. And for those of you who are curious, Laura's computer locked up. She'll be back in a minute. She's just rebooting.
Okay. You didn't expel her.
No, Laura didn't bounce. Anastasia's like, so
she's like, I hate her story. Like, oh. Her story's stupid. Get her out of here.
Not at all. So moving on from Anastasia. Now, Brittany, you are trying to fix the lag monster because you noticed from our last broadcast that you've been having lag issues with your video, definitely. But how are you doing?
It is what it is right now, but as long as you guys can hear me, that's the important thing.
That is the important thing.
And if I don't move, I'm just utterly adorable. So,
I mean, that works. Yeah, and you can just be like Grumpy Bear, like
I'll just there.
Right. Now I have to ask about the onesie though. If you zip it all the way up, is the stomach region the actual Grumpy
Bear? Hold on. Let me zip myself up.
Yeah. Oh my god! That's great.
I had some cleavage going on.
Steer!
Pretty much. It's pretty great, and it's my favorite Care Bear too. So
nice.
Yeah.
What the hell is my favorite Care Bear?
You don't.
Not the right.
I was into the Care Bear cousins.
Yes, the lion. The lion was my favorite.
Wasn't his name Lionheart or something?
Yeah,
Lionheart.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I like him.
I like the penguin. The penguin was kind of cool.
Yeah,
the penguin.
Love-A-Lot.
Care Bear cousins, yeah.
The penguin was pretty great. Little purple penguin.
There's an elephant in there too, right?
Yeah, there's an elephant.
All of them.
I think I like the elephant more because I remember him and then Lionheart.
Yeah.
There's Laura.
Hey,
Laura, who's your favorite Care Bear cousin?
Or Care Bear.
Or Care Bear. Yeah.
So I was really little and I don't remember them very much, but I think I like the one with the rainbow on it and the one with the ice cream cone on it.
Oh yeah, that's hold on. Google's my friend.
I think I like the Care Bear cousins because they called instead of like stared.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I love the movie. The movie was great.
Yeah, that book was terrifying.
Cozy Heart is the penguin.
Cozy Heart.
Cozy Heart.
The penguin was cute. So,
But I'm talking about Care Bears.
Right. We didn't know that we were going here, but Brittany she inspired a
blame me, it's fine.
Brittany owns it. Okay, so also we have Christina with us, and Christina, you've like multiplied your animal household by a lot in the last. What is going on with your house? What the hell?
I don't know. So this happened when I was in 8th grade as well. So 8th grade was like peak animal ownership, where we had like a ton of chickens, a goat, and so many dogs.
Wow.
And now we have so many cats, and we're back up to so many dogs because we what was it? We had a few. They were really old, and then they died this year and last year. And so we were down to just Winston, my Great Dane, Petunia, our Shih Tzu, and like 2 of the last last surviving dogs in the litter that we've had for like 10 years.
Right.
But and so Mom was like, I'm not gonna get any more dogs. I'm not gonna get any more dogs. This bitch. She brought home 3 puppies.
Oh,
She didn't want to separate them.
Yeah, you can't separate.
Yeah, she was. Well, they're a litter of 9 or 10, but Mom wanted 1 puppy. This is my mom was talking about. There's never just one. She can't have just one. She has to have a multiple of the same thing. So she couldn't decide she couldn't decide among the 3 that she really liked. So she got them all.
Exactly. If you can't decide, you just do it. Have you ever? Okay, so you have a Great Dane. Have you ever seen The Ugly Dachshund, which is a very racist movie, but it's a Disney movie? Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's like about this like Great Dane that is raised with a whole bunch of dachshunds, and so it thinks it's a dachshund, so it just creates havoc throughout the house. But everything else about it is racist. But it's a funny movie.
I feel like you have to work really hard to make a movie about dogs racist.
Oh yeah, well Disney didn't have to work hard. They just had a Asian gardener played by a white man.
Oh, typical Disney.
And I don't need to say anymore.
Right.
It just went wrong.
Oh, and then we also have chickens.
Right.
We also have chickens. Again.
Your neighbors love that. Do you have roosters?
We have 2 roosters. They're not very loud, but we have 2 guinea hens that look like little turkeys, and they're loud.
And then on top of all that, your dad just
keep them for Christmas.
Right, but your dad just confirmed that you also have goats incoming, correct?
Yes, we have 2 baby goats incoming, and he's building their little house now. Which I think Dad should just forego the deposit he's already made and just like, no, never mind. This is my Great Dane's house because he loves that house.
seriously, we should show a photo. Do you mind if I show a photo of it, Christina?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. Yeah, you got to see this. Like Winston is a gigantic dog. I mean, this is
he's so big.
Great,
but I can't take him anywhere. He has to be with Dad, or else he's a total fucking basket case.
Oh, that's one.
Oh, dang it!
You only get
two. You only get two F-bombs per
person. I don't think that's how that works.
No, per person. Look, this is why I like the podcast better, because we can swear to our heart's content.
So there you go. So there's your dad, and there's Winston. Look at this boy. Look at him.
He's just a little muffin.
Yeah.
Really, you're just going to zoom in on the text. Oh, you jerk. So I'm trying to zoom in on the photo and it's making the text over here bigger. But yeah, so I mean, this guy is ginormous. He is huge. But he's adorable. He's a fun boy. So
he is a fun boy.
Yeah,
I can't take him anywhere by myself though.
Yeah, he's a good boy. You know, who could? I mean, you got to ride him in
my
SUV.
Like he has to have Dad with him. He has to, or else he will not behave. Like Dad can take him around. And he takes him to Lowe's. Everyone at Lowe's knows him now.
Right.
Aww.
And but he can walk around off leash as long as he's with my dad.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that your Christmas gets less mangery. I mean, right now all you need is like one little like baby, and like you got like the whole cat ready to go. I mean, seriously, right?
We could use that goat house as a manger.
I'm saying, right?
Oh my god!
You see, like you guys are like one step away. You just need to
put a little baby Yoda in the manger.
I'm so done with your obsession with baby
What
Yoda.
child is this? Exactly.
I know. We already have. Gump said something. We already have half a pony. He's half pony, half dog.
Oh Jesus!
So he fills our horse quota.
You should get a mini horse.
Juan,
hashtag
Neil sucks.
Yeah, our friend Juan, he's named Shin Ghidorah on in the Twitch. It says the mail service sucks. So for those of you who
actually, Juan, I put a lost mail trace on that box since it hasn't been scanned in like 5, 6, 7 days.
Yeah,
I put a trace on it. We'll see if that makes it pop up.
So for those of you who don't know, quick update on the business side. All of our packages have gone out for the most part, except for 2. And those are ones that would have to go in priority mail. And what we found out is when we mailed Juan's out, it was a big package, has a bunch of orders in it. It was being sent out priority mail it was sent out 10 days ago?
It was sent out on the 10th of December, 2-day priority.
So 2-day priority should have gotten there, right? And apparently it has gone into a black hole from which there is no return. It's being scanned, and then it just stopped getting scanned a couple days ago. And we can't figure out where the hell it is. So we basically, right before we were about to send out new packages, we realized they were going to be priority. We contacted the people, said, hey, we're going to hold off on sending these until after the holidays because we don't want you to go into this black hole that Juan's stuck in. I
have one other person whose package is in a black hole. So I live in Charleston. Everyone knows that. I sent this package to Charlotte, North Carolina. From Charleston to Charlotte is a 3-hour drive. USPS took my package from Charleston and sent it up to Philadelphia.
Yep. And
now it's in Philadelphia somewhere.
And apparently the Philly hub is the worst hub in the United States as far as slowdown right now. So
it's like they sent packages there just to stall the hub.
Yeah.
There's no reason a package should have went there. It should have went to Columbia and then Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah. A package that my friend Gumps, he's in Florida, and our friend Brigman is in Maine. Mm-hmm. He sent priority mail, and it arrived 7 days later than it should have.
At least it arrived.
Yeah, at this point, we just want it to arrive, right? Like, we talked to Juan. Juan's like, it's cool. It gets here when it gets here. We're like, no, it should be there already. It was like 2-day delivery. It should have been there. But if it doesn't, we have insurance on it, so we'll be able to remake the items and whatnot. But he's like, I don't want you to do that. We're like, screw that. You're getting what you ordered. So it's going to get there sooner or later. We're hoping sooner, but we'll figure that out.
But it just shows up, like, bam, delivered. Everything I sent first class has been delivered. It's funny because like I can mail a package out as long as it's under 16 ounces. I can send it first class. All of those have made it to where they need to go. I'm sure they have way more first class packages than they do priority mail packages. I don't know. It just seems to me there's more volume in first class than there is in priority. But
yeah.
I don't
Laura,
know.
your present is stuck in Kentucky and it's been there since the 17th.
Your present is supposed to be here tomorrow.
This has become the Festivus portion of our show where we're airing our grievances with the delivery services of America. So,
and yesterday, I'm gonna tell y'all a story because I don't want people to do this. If anyone's out there listening to my story, a lady went on one of my crafting groups. She ordered something from a crafter, then went on a crafting group to complain about how it hasn't arrived for Christmas, and then obviously deleted her post within like 4 hours because she was lambasted with people who were like, what do you want? The woman gave her a refund for this item, lost in the mail, but not really. I don't think anything's actually lost. It's just stalled. Yeah, but the lady gave her a refund anyway, so she's still going to get the package, didn't pay for it, and then was complaining that all of this is even happening. So don't harass these poor small businesses because, it's like we put everything in the mail, and then once it's in the hands of the USPS, we know as much as the tracking on the website says. I saw this message that says, could you contact the shipper and see when it'll arrive? Yeah, okay, let me just call it the Postmaster General.
Right.
Plus, like that woman probably just needs like a hobby.
Yeah. But to be fair, though, our experiences have almost always been
like, you have ruined Christmas because my item isn't here. So,
but for us, our experiences are usually very positive as far as like, with customers and clients and whatnot. We rarely have any kind of like badness with that, but still we feel bad about it. So, even when like, you can see like even Ghidorah, he's very much like he totally gets what's going on. He's like, I appreciate you too. We still feel bad. So
I have those 2 packages that I'm watching on text deliveries. So if they get scanned, I get a text message because I just like stalk them and wait. And I also heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard people say that if the system detects you using the text delivery, it prompts that package to move faster.
We'll see.
Because they know it's being watched. Now I have no way to prove this or any science. I just know like 100 people said that they seem to agree that this happens. Okay. They also said that if you have a package that has stalled and has not been scanned in days, to put a missing package search on it. And that sometimes gets it moving as well. So I went in last night and did a missing package. She needs to watch.
If anybody's watching the news, what's going on.
Right.
I mean.
But so I went in and I did the missing package search for all of them. One of them came back as rejected because I didn't give them enough information. It's a brown box with a label on it. It's like, I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Yeah. So I resubmitted it with more words. It's a brown box made by this company with this sticker on top.
Bunch of fragile stickers, and it's weird.
I don't know what they want from me.
I don't know. But anyways, we're not here to talk about airing our grievances too much. We've been going. It's been 25 minutes. We haven't even gotten to the topic of the day, which means this is the old Shaun-castic podcast, we're right on schedule.
We're going to talk about the Baby Yoda show.
We are here to talk about the Baby Yoda show.
It doesn't have that name.
Well, we still call him Baby Yoda because we don't know what Yoda's race is. So Grogu is Baby Yoda. So he's Grogu the Baby Yoda. That's what we officially call him in the house. I actually catch myself calling him Baby Grogu quite a bit.
Baby Grogu. Mm-hmm.
I say Baby Grogu quite a bit. But yeah, we're here to talk about the finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian. There is a lot to talk about. And what I'd like to do is I kind of get everybody's impression without going into specific details. Did you love it? Were you excited by it? Are you ready for season 3 to already be here? Like kind of like, let us know what's going on with that. And Laura, no, I want to guide for a second. I'm going to let Chris, you're going to go last. Okay. Because I know. We're going to start with Christina for this one. I promise when we get to the more important stuff, I'll let you go first.
Crushed.
Divorce papers is what you're getting for Christmas, buddy.
Oh, hey!
Right now.
Oh, in a probe.
I love
it. Okay, so Christina, I'm gonna let you go first because you had a chance to talk a lot. So please.
I loved it. I mean, what else can I say? Although trifle. But I just love that we got a lot more lore, a lot of callbacks to previous series and previous movies, and I like how low key, but not really. It's continuing plot threads in other series that never got that
right.
hasn't really reached a solid end, and is just continuing another story.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people out there who are like, it's funny that, they said we're going to do a Star Wars TV show, and then Dave Filoni basically just snuck in everything from Rebels and Clone Wars. And they're like, see, we're finishing these plot lines. But the thing that I've always kind of wanted to see more of, and I'm very happy that they're doing this, is the fact that Star Wars is more than the Skywalker clan. It's more than the Jedi and the Sith. It's a much larger group of people. And I would like to see more plot lines outside of those cats. So to go outside of them and to get stuff that's Mandalorian centric and to get stuff that's, the frog people and to see, how the First Order is trying to form up, Moff Gideon and all this stuff. And I was like, I appreciate that. So the people who are kind of complaining, I'm like, whatever.
I think season 2 is probably going to cement itself as the best season for me. I'm just going to say it right now because we're getting more Mandalorians. We're starting to get more lore for the Mandalorians, and it redeemed my boy Boba.
It did, yeah. Well, wow, Boba's your boy all of a sudden? He's gone that high.
He's been my boy ever since, but he hadn't had a fair shake up until now, at least on TV.
Speak.
Okay, Laura's about to pop. Laura, go for it. I was just wanting to start off a little different because once me and Laura go, that'll be it. So
I just wanted to add on to what she said about Boba Fett because all of us Star Wars people, we've all seen all the people who are like, "Oh, Boba Fett because he's badass." But what has he ever done to establish that he's a badass? Really, other than get Han Solo and Carbonite. That's it. That's all he did. Vader did all the work.
Yeah. I mean, at least movie-wise, I mean, of course, after that, in the comics, they started making him a badass. But, that's for comic people.
Right.
The comic people and Star Wars fans know he's been around a little bit more, and he had more of a story after the movies. But the people who are just watching the movies or the TV series, he hasn't had a fair shake up until now.
I mean, seriously, look at it. In Empire Strikes Back, he's basically a glorified Frigidaire delivery man, right? He gets a guy and puts him on a bus and he takes him off to Jabba. And in Return of the Jedi, he's just standing around looking intimidating. And then basically his backpack gets one hit with a freaking gaffy staff, and he runs into the side of his boss's, RV and falls into a monster's mouth. I mean, Boba Fett looks like a chump,
Yeah, I was on that. Yeah. I'm team that. I've never understood the Boba Fett love. I'm just I don't get it. I don't at all. But that being said, this, and I don't read the comics for it either, but this totally has redeemed him. Totally.
Oh, yeah. Anastasia, how about you? What are your thoughts on this season?
Oh, well, I wanted to play my niece's reaction to the finale real quick.
Please, yeah, let's hear it.
We love reactions.
Hold on, I'll put you up full screen. Hold on, give me a second.
Let me see.
We'll make you the star. Oh my god! What in the world?
That got texted to me. We just finished The Mandalorian.
So that was after the post-credit scene, I take it.
And I got a FaceTime.
Oh.
And it was hysterical as well.
Oh, I love it. That is, you know what? You need to put that on the internet. It's just gonna go viral.
Like, but you know what? You should all follow at Gwendolyn Sorrell if you like hip hop dancing because she's great. But she's also very dramatic, and I love it.
That was intense.
So I didn't stop uncontrollably, but I did get feels and little goosebumps.
I don't know how spoiler we're gonna go, but
we're in full spoiler territory.
Okay.
So guys, if you have not seen it yet, turn us off because we're about to spoil everything.
I will say that the people that didn't say they got enough Skywalkers got enough Skywalkers in this last episode, correct? Yeah. And I was like, when I first saw him coming in, I was like, wait, well, who could have his lightsaber? And my mom was like, no, that's Mark Hamill. I was like, no, but somebody has his lightsaber. So what?
I think when I started what year is this? What? Because I keep forgetting where we're at in the timeline.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
We're only 5 years after Jedi, so he's only 5 years after his victory over the
I thought it was really funny because Shaun's mom, we talked to her the other day, and she saw it, and she was like, "How did they do that? How did they do that?"
I know, because I never really found him very hot. And then he came in The Mandalorian, and I was like, "Ooh, hey!" And then Pedro Pascal took off his mask, and I was like, "Never mind."
Stop it.
So, true story. I'm so not into Pedro Pascal. Okay.
Good. Stay away.
I'm not.
More for us.
But when he took off his helmet and he started crying for little baby Grogu, I was like, I would have his baby.
Oh Lord,
I do.
Y'all.
I've been wanting to have his baby since Narcos, though. I was like,
oh yeah. She's an old school stan. That's what she is. That gotta dance.
That got excited. Yeah.
Well, you can get all kinds of dances.
So everyone has a chance.
No, it was great. I loved it. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't at all. I don't think any of us really were, right? I don't think anyone. I do love that it was such a well-kept secret. Yeah. I love that it didn't. It was just. I just remember it was happening. I was like, they're gonna get him back. It's totally fine. And then when they were like, oh, someone else is on the way. And then when Grogu was like, oh, and I was like, oh, cool, that's right. She said another Jedi would find him. And then he comes in, and I was like, I did the exact same thing. I was like, okay, green lightsaber. Huh, Luke, but maybe someone else has a green lightsaber.
Yeah,
not a big deal. Cool. But then you see the gloved hand, and I grabbed my friend's leg. I was like, oh. I was like, that's not Luke. That's not fucking Luke. That's one. That's not Luke. It's happening. And then the action, everything was happening. I was like, okay, but if it is Luke, how are they going to do this? Is he not going to show his face? I thought he was honestly just going to walk in all hooded, scoop up the baby, be like, get out and leave. He's gonna show up in his grumpy bear onesie and just be like, he's out. But then they showed his face, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna do the de-aging thing. Wasn't great, but I was still so stoked for it. It was amazing. And then, you guys are all Boba Fett fans. That's great. Again, not really a Boba Fett fan, but when it got to the end, I was like, oh, that looks like a poster. That needs to be on a t-shirt. That looks grand. And then it said, Book of Boba Fett. I did jump up and down and squeal. I don't even know why. I don't even really care. But I was like, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be so good.
No, I absolutely agree. And for those of you who have not seen through the credits, because apparently some people didn't stay through the credits, which I don't know.
It was emotional, I think people were just like, I need to leave.
Honestly, for us, so Christina had watched it early in the morning and posted on Facebook, watch through the credits. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And so we're watching it a little bit later on in the afternoon. Laura and I think we're at lunch.
No, we watched it at 9 a.m. because you came in the room and you said,
that's right. Laura got done with her 9 a.m. meeting and she had some time. So we sat down and we started watching it. And we were just having an emotional moment. We forgot about the end credit scene. We were just like,
yeah. It's emotional. That Reface app did a really good job on Mark Hamill. And I cried tears. And yeah.
Honestly, I think the only thing that, if I had my druthers about it, for a while there on the internet, they've shown the fact that Sebastian Stan looks remarkably like Mark Hamill at approximately the same age. And I was like, no, bringing in Sebastian Stan and giving him that haircut and whatnot would be a really great way of bringing in a new actor and, you know, kind of slowly smoothing it out, because obviously Mark Hamill can't play younger unless you de-age him. And that always, it feels a little weird. You know,
I will object.
Okay.
They are getting better at it.
They are, but we're not there yet.
But what we just saw was him de-aging. Like, I did a whole read-up on it. It wasn't like they threw a different... Mark Hamill was there on set.
He was there. Oh, he was definitely there, yeah.
Yeah, and the face-to-face with Grogu, that's Mark Hamill. That's them de-aging, CGIing him. Right. And it's okay. It's just not great.
Yeah, and again, that's
because you know in your mind it's false.
Yeah. I mean, it's a TV budget. I get it. Like,
no matter how good they make it, that uncanny valley effect will always be in the back of your mind.
Right. And I don't fault them for that, because honestly, it gave you continuity, just like when they did Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. Like, it works. By and large, it works pretty damn well. But it's still, you're like, well, I know that guy's really dead and he didn't do this scene. But, you know, you suspend disbelief enough and it's fine. That I'm not gonna knock them for that. I just thought it would have been interesting, since you have somebody who is an established actor already in the Disney Marvel, you know, Star Wars universe, as far as, you know, they're under contract. They're doing another freaking Disney Plus show. I am sure you could have said, hey, you want to be Luke Skywalker for an afternoon? And he would have showed up with the freaking Winter Soldier arm on, just put a glove on it. You know, like, he would have
he didn't really remove his arm. He's okay.
No, he's method.
Be okay.
Look, if they get Sebastian Stan, my boyfriend, if they get him to be Luke, I will lose my ever-loving mind. I'm going to tell you right now. Look, my car's name is Bucky. It is the Winter Soldier. It has the star and everything on it. So I will tell you now, make it happen, Marvel.
We have very different cars.
Do it, you cowards.
My car is named Killmonger. So.
Yes!
So we all have our thing.
But I mean, out of an entire season of just amazing highs, and especially this finale, which was just, for me, it just rocked on all cylinders. That is my one ding. And this is like saying that really good piece of pizza wasn't quite as good as the 8 other slices of pizza I just had. You know, it's still damn good pizza. You know, it's just, it wasn't quite as good as maybe that
pizza.
It's good pizza, you know. So I'll tell you, seeing him and seeing that lightsaber and doing that freaking dance down the hallway, where he's, you know, he's being the Jedi that we see like in the prequels. Because let's be fair, in Return of the Jedi, we see him do a little bit of it, but he never goes full on disco dancing, rave hopping, you know, spinning the lightsaber around like they do in the prequels. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, like in Soul Calibur, where you can play Yoda, and he's like,
yeah, like you never get that. Luke is still early on in his Jedidom. So to see him 5 years in, like, he's got his rhythm, you know, he's got ABBA playing in his headset, you know, he's ready to rock. You know,
he's listening to ABBA.
He's listening to Waterloo. He's all about it.
How dare you?
That is not true. It's just not.
First off, Waterloo is the best ABBA song. I'm sorry, it is. Second, I will die on this hill. I love ABBA. Okay, so
wait, Anastasia, what is he really listening to?
Yeah,
he's listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Is he listening to September?
Yeah.
Or is it still...
Do you remember? Turn it for now.
Oh, yeah. I can get behind it.
You know, I was
energy.
afraid for a second Anastasia was going to go Fleetwood Mac, and I was like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, he's doing a landslide.
Oh,
right.
wow.
He's jamming the landslide. Just, you know, he's got a little emo.
He's got to be listening to a power ballad for all those like heavy strikes that he does.
He's like listening to Mr. Big.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to sing the song though, because I sing horribly. But if you've never, what was it?
I'm the one who wants to be with you. Deep inside, I hope you feel it too. Yeah.
Are we gonna go to DMCA strike for bad singing?
No, that's all. When it goes platinum, we
Two
get
F words.
But I personally thought it was ABBA. But now we have a host of different ones. I like the Earth, Wind, and Fire. So
I was going Metallica.
Metallica.
Like Pantera or something.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Metallica. He was doing like maybe some For Who the Bell Toll.
Baby metal.
Baby metal.
Or he's listening to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Yes!
I think he's listening to the Richard Cheese versions of all of these songs.
Yes,
so it's like loungy.
Yes.
Baby got back, you know.
Down with the Sickness. Oh, the Richard Cheese version.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I love the original Down with the Sickness, but the Richard Cheese version is infinitely superior.
That's what I want to get married to. Down with the Sickness by Richard Cheese.
Stop it.
When I'm at the altar, it'll just say, "Get ready to die."
It's so good. No, wait. He was doing I'm Walking on Sunshine.
Ooh,
That's
man,
what he was doing.
Maybe you love me, but like an electric version, like a disco version. I don't know.
The Me First and the Gimme Gimme version.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Look it up.
So for those who might be joining us a little late, we're trying to decide what song did Luke Skywalker get his disco rave attack on in that hallway to, because he was listening to some jam, and we've gone down a rabbit hole, which is what we do here.
What if he was like listening to something like Pink or something, you know? Because I've been watching The Wilds, and that's all they talk about.
But if it was going to be Pink, he'd be listening to something very kind of like, you know, against type. So,
Like,
Just so what?
you know he's listening to the Spice Girls.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
He likes girl bands.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm down with it. You know, I'm sitting here kind of going like, no, I can see all these as good options. Now I kind of want to go and like get some songs and like just take that segment and just run some music underneath it to see if it matches up at all.
Just listen to the Spice World.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or the soundtrack to Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah.
But only the short songs.
Three Small Words is a jam.
It is.
Amazing. I love Three Small Words. It's a jam. And I honestly, what was it, about 2 or 3 months ago, where they were talking about what's the best not real hit song in a movie that you've ever heard, and everybody was talking about, what was it, Johnny Doesn't Know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Johnny
doesn't know.
Yeah.
I love Johnny Doesn't Know.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty.
Scotty doesn't know.
That was it. Scotty Doesn't Know. And I was like, look, Scotty Doesn't Know is awesome, but Three Small Words, like, I actually heard Three Small Words.
What about Daddy Wasn't There from Austin Powers?
What?
No.
I sing it all the time. It's just my daddy issues. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Just watching what, 2 weeks ago, Laura?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks ago.
This time.
I'll tell you, the first movie still hilarious, but that joke gets old real quick. Like,
Wait, which one?
The Austin Powers series.
Oh yeah.
We got to gold. Remember, by the time we got done with The Spy Who Loved Me, The Spy Who Shagged Me, I was kind of like, I think this has run its course. But at that point, we're 2/3 in. We're like,
Gotta finish
we're
it.
going to finish. We're going to finish. But
Like The Godfather, you gotta go all the way through.
But you know, Godfather 3, okay, we're going way off the deep end, but Godfather 3 is not a bad movie. It is
and I
just
got the new one, the new cut. So
Oh, did you?
yeah, because it's Christmas and I watch Godfather for Christmas.
Awesome.
Yes, I love
Legit.
that.
Because it's about the family.
But we'll come back to that. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that in a little while. But okay, so other things that happened in the finale that I thought were really great. We talked a little bit about, obviously, just the overall arch. We talked about the fact that we get the Book of Boba Fett. I love the fact that we finally got to see the Dark Troopers like in real action. That was a cool moment.
They punched Daddy Mando in the face like 5 times.
Yeah, I was waiting because Laura's been wanting to talk about like the freaking just Dark Troopers just beating up on Daddy Mando, which is what she calls Den, by the way. She never calls him by his name. She's always Daddy Mando. So,
Well, I mean, I dig it. I think I might steal it because Daddy
She's gonna
Mando
call him
sounds
Daddy for
great.
sure.
Yeah. I was already going to call him Daddy in a different way. But I was like, stop wrecking the
Daddy
merchandise,
Mando.
dude.
You can still call him in like Daddy Mando, but in that connotation that you had in mind.
Yeah.
Laura's connotation was innocent. Anastasia's is definitely not.
Well, after the last episode, I'm in love with him.
Right. Oh, my Lord.
See, he is Daddy Mando, just like sexy emo boyfriend is, Adam Driver. So, sexy emo boyfriend, Yeah.
Sexy
emo boyfriend.
And then Oscar Isaac is just space boyfriend.
He's space boyfriend.
He's space boyfriend.
And then Han is space bae because
Han Solo.
Sorry, Shaun, you've lost it.
You know what?
You did this.
I knew what I was getting into, and I was like, this will be so much more fun if it's not just me, just rambling about my ramblings. And I was like, let's bring people in here who are just going to let's do the fun, and that's what I wanted. So you guys
don't like his mustache.
What about mustache?
I just don't like his mustache. If we
no, he's contractually obligated to keep that mustache now.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that video you posted last night where he was comparing his facial hair to Oscar Isaac's facial hair, and he's like, "Yeah, I shaved 5 days ago. The screw in 5 days ago," and he's like, "And I'm left with this."
Even though Laura's big point was, how the hell does he keep his mustache all trimmed and keep everything kind of wispy and whatnot when he's always wearing that damn helmet? Like, is there like an auto shaver inside of the Beskar helmet kind of keeping it? Like he programmed it.
He takes it off when he's alone.
When is he alone on the freaking Razor's?
He has to have a long time. Not everybody's all up on him,
Baby Grogu, he never took it off even for Baby Grogu.
Oh, can we talk about that for a moment? When he took the helmet off and Baby Grogu sees him, and he's like, "This is what you look like." When the baby's hand reaches up and caresses his face, I about died.
Yeah, I had like 4 babies. Just like,
look, I had a hysterectomy and I almost had babies. It's cool.
Done.
I immediately started ovulating. It was just like immediate.
It's like if he does not become like Gomez Adams, I don't even know what I can't.
But you see, what's funny, because even though people are still trying to put him in as Gomez Adams now, I'm still hung up on Oscar Isaac being
yes,
being Gomez now.
That is also animated Gomez though.
No, but I want him to be real I want him to be real, like
real animated.
One of those, as long as it's not Johnny Depp.
But it's not Johnny Depp because it's Burton, and Burton only uses Johnny Depp.
Not anymore. He don't.
Don't do
Johnny
it.
Depp is kind of like so toxic, man. We
won't go down
That's
that
a whole
path.
other podcast.
That is.
Just make one of those 2 men, Gomez Adams, and cool.
Yeah. I mean, he needs new people on his actor roster anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So why not Oscar Isaac or Pablo?
There you go. Now, one other thing I want to talk about in that final moment, because honestly, that's really the thing. I mean, the episode is great. It's all about we're sieging Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer. They get on board, but really the last 5-10 minutes are what we're here for. Luke Skywalker showing up to bring Baby Grogu to the fledgling Jedi Temple. And then, of course, the thing that I was really impressed by is we keep forgetting how rare and how dangerous and how mythic the Jedi are in this world. And when Gideon sees that lightsaber, there's a shot where they get Moff Gideon's face in close up, and he looks like he's about to brown his pants. I mean, he looks freaked. And this is a guy who knows. The man has the Darksaber. The man clearly, knows what the Jedi can do. And to know that this is the last official Jedi out there, like this is the guy who killed the Emperor, who killed Vader. This is the guy who has stood up against everything the Empire's thrown at them, and he's still there. I love that, because I think that we do not see Luke in that mythic point of view enough. Because one of the things I've been seeing over the weekend, and I'd love to get your ladies' opinions on this, is a lot of people are saying this was the Star Wars we always wanted because that Last Jedi version of Luke sucked. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think that these two actually lend themselves very well to each other, because at this point, Luke is becoming the myth that is going to make the mistake. He's buying almost into his own hype because he's trying to rebuild the Jedi, which will lead him to taking Ben into the temple and Ben eventually basically tearing it down, which of course has huge ramifications now because Grogu's at the temple. What's going to happen to Grogu? We got to find out.
Don't
and
hurt my baby.
Right, exactly. So, I like the fact that we get to see Luke start down this journey, and then we're going to see where he ends up, because at some point in the next 20-something years, the temple falls. Luke realizes he's made a mistake. He's bought into his own hype, and he has to go into hiding because he even, he didn't mean to, but he even bought into, the mistake of the legend that is the Jedi, the legend that is Skywalker. You can see it. He walks in there possessed of a calm and a cool that we have not seen since when he walked to the Jabba's palace, basically telling him, I'm going to kill you if you don't let my friends go. So I was kind of hoping to hear your ideas and what you thought about it. And I'll just let you go ahead. Free for all. Go for it.
Well, I was just going to say it's called a character arc. He's allowed to have a character arc. He's allowed to be this legend and be after the legend and be before the legend. And it's good that we get to see those different layers of him so we can understand how he's, the journey he's been on and the trauma that he's been through, and the greatness. So I'm glad we get to see all these different aspects.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. What about you, Christina?
I mean, same with Anastasia. I mean, we forget that these characters are sometimes are allowed to be human. They're allowed to get old and, be wiser. They can't stay the same their entire lives, or else, what kind of adversity did he really go through?
Right.
If he didn't learn anything from it. So, I mean, we saw his beginning. We were seeing little bits and pieces. Well, we saw a bit and a piece of what's going on in the middle, where he's coming off of a victory high, and now he's on this new mission to rebuild the Jedi Order, and so he's on this high and mighty high right now, and then he gets knocked the F down, by his nephew, and he's learning from that. He had an epic fall, and it's affected him lot.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely it. And I think also, you're right. I mean, he's on the I Killed Papa Palpatine tour. I mean, that's what he's on right now. I mean, he's on the tour of going through the galaxy ain't nobody bigger than Luke Skywalker in this house,
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. I mean, when you think about the heroes of the rebellion, you're thinking Princess Leia, who of course becomes General Leia. You're thinking Han Solo, who basically goes back to being a smuggler. And then you think about Luke Skywalker. I mean, those are the big dogs in the freaking, alliance. And that is a huge responsibility. And for Luke, it's even worse because he's also got to rebuild the damn Jedi Order. And the thing I've always reminded people is that we have to remember that Luke did not learn how to be a traditional Jedi. Luke learned how to be a hitman. This guy was basically taught how to use the Force and how to kill with the Force. He didn't get a decade and a half of extreme Zen Buddhism to kind of balance out the fact that he could just wreck a mofo anytime, anywhere, any way he likes. They said, here, this is how you murder people.
There's an app for that, so it's okay.
I mean, seriously, so that's where he's starting from, and he's trying his best, and clearly he's got a good head on his shoulders, but he's going to make mistakes. And what I'm curious about is how is this going to impact Mando season 3? Because let's talk about it for a second. The end of the episode happens. We get the after credit scene where Boba Fett rolls into Jabba's palace, kills poor Bib Fortuna, right? Bib Fortuna's just sitting. And the fact that this guy is, if you're the actor, right? Literally, you've shown up, you've basically said, no Jabba, no Bada, he no Jedi. You got to whisper into his ear in episode 1, and then you get back on the throne. I'm finally the big dog. I get to be Bib Fortuna. Bam, you're dead. That actor has gotten crapped on the entire time.
Okay, but I don't really feel sorry for the character.
No. He's a scumbag. No, he's absolutely.
I feel like this guy will get another job. It'll be okay.
Would it be bad if that's the only job he's ever had, right?
That would be horrible, but I hope that is not the case.
I hope that's not the case. Actually, I don't think it's the same guy. I think the guy who did it in episode 1 is the same actor who's done the Bib Fortuna stuff since then, but I don't think he's the same actor from the 80. The 80, what was it, 82 or 83? I think it was 83 when it came out. It was 82 or 83 when it came out. But yeah, that was one of those things where I was like, oh man, Bib Fortuna just got. But Finnick rolls in, and I love the fact that she takes an extra moment to get rid of the slave girl. Like, okay, we're not going to have any more of this around here. And I'm like, yeah. Because Laura and I, we're doing this massive rewatch of all that Star Wars that we're doing. And we just watched Jedi last night. And I was like, how dope was it that George Lucas went right after right after rape culture and said, Jabba the Hutt is a racist slave-owning asshole. And who kills him? Princess Leia. Chokes him out to death. George Lucas literally choked out rape culture. Go to George Lucas. Dope. So then, if you get also a Mandalorian season finale, Finnick shoots a bastard. Or I mean, like, it's great. I love that. That's the through message for me right now with Star Wars, which is don't be that person. But
don't be that person ever.
Don't be that person like, ever.
Yeah.
But the thing that
the real question, the hard hitting question we need to answer is, how will it be the Baby Grogu show if Baby Grogu isn't on the show?
Oh, but that's not the name of the show, though. So, like, it'll be okay. See, it's called The Mandalorian. It's called Daddy
DeLorean? Daddy Mando.
Daddy DeLorean.
Grogu.
When they showed
Daddy Mando anymore.
I mean, when they showed the Book of Boba Fett Christmas of 2021, people freaked out like that's going to be Mandalorian season 3. We're not going to get Din Djarin back. Like, people were seriously freaked that it was going to move. Dadalorian. Oh God, Laura, there it is. That's your perfect melt. The Dadalorian. There you go.
She just keeps coming out with more.
She's obsessed. She
has
problem.
Nearly everything that is Grogu right now.
Go get your actual Grogu.
Wait, do you have Grogu underwear? Like
no, hold on. You're about to see the actual Grogu. Hold on.
Grogu underwear. But that's just
when she gets back, I also have the real hard hitting question.
Oh.
Or I can ask it now.
She'll be back in like 1 second. Hold on. Here we go. There you go.
Oh,
gave him a bow tie.
I gave him a bow tie
and a Christmas stocking.
Hey, Laura, put him like full camera so they can see him. Like put him up to the camera. There's a little porg
stuff too. She's so much porgs.
Yeah. So there you go.
She practically kicked the porgs to the curb as soon as
the back is like, how dare you stand in front of me?
Hold up his head to the camera so they can get a close up. I mean, this thing is insane. Look at this.
Yeah, this is the sideshow one, right?
That's the sideshow one. Look at that.
Oh, this is the one that costs like $5,000, right?
Well, not that much, but it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
All right, I would have go.
Horrible.
Doesn't he? So there you go. But yeah, so we got a couple.
Ball too.
Oh yeah, hold on. I'll go back to that real quick. Hold on. He's got the little. Yeah, but no, Laura literally, like, she was obsessed with porgs for years when Last Jedi came out, and Grogu showed up, and she's like, "F that guy." Like,
so Laura,
anyway.
Laura, what you need is a porg tattoo on one butt cheek and Grogu on the other.
Why would I put that on my butt cheek?
Wow, I don't know. Why would you? Wait, the better question is, why wouldn't you?
Because I could put it on my arm and everyone could see it.
I mean, tattoos are awesome too.
I want to get the Cabbage Patch signature on my butt.
That makes sense.
I look like one anyway, so it's cool.
Oh
like a sexy one, though. Like a sexy
I just had a dog on me, and she's just sitting there like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Do you want to come up?" And she walks away like, "No, I don't want to talk to you."
Okay, I have to ask the real question, and this is for realsy. Okay. And maybe I missed something and my stroke-addled brain missed it. But here's my problem. Luke comes, takes Grogu. Where I'm going to reserve my F-bomb. It's going to mess up the storyline. We've never heard Luke talk about Grogu ever. He's never been mentioned. He should, we've never seen another Yoda-like creature. Luke runs across this other Yoda-like creature that looks like Master Yoda, who is dead. So you think he'd be like, "Oh my God," but he was just kind of like, "Come on, little one, let's go." But throughout everything else we have, especially with the last trilogy, there's never any mention of a Grogu. So what happens? Is it just one of these things that we're not going to talk about it? Like, how are you going to fit that into canon
That's his
I'm
secret
bring
Yoda.
it down.
Secret Yoda. Secret Yoda.
I'm gonna bring the mood down. He was one of the students who perished, and he doesn't want to talk about him anymore.
Oh, bummer, dude.
What you're saying is Grogu's gonna die, and Laura's gonna come to your house and murder you for bringing.
Yeah, like I gotta change my address now. Like I got.
Not she has to go out alone first. He started it.
Damn.
No, that is the most logical outcome, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think personally, first off, there's no way Disney's going to let them kill off Baby Grogu. Like just from a fiscal like cash cow point of view, Baby Grogu is just like printing money right now.
They killed the Razor Crest.
They killed Han.
Yeah, okay, but again, the Razor Crest
like, I'm out.
They killed Han after they had made money off of him for 30-something years. Okay, I mean,
too soon.
Well, still, but I mean, but what I think is going to happen is I think what they're doing is that I think that is the logical question: how can Grogu still be around if Ben Solo?
No, Gomez.
Somebody said Grogu.
You know what? Anastasia's on board. I have heard that supposedly he turned Sith, but that presents an even bigger question. If he turned Sith, he's a badass Sith. We would have heard of him. The problem is whether you make him good or bad, we would have heard about him. Honestly, Christina's answer is probably the most logical. Is he died a horrible death, and it's too painful for Luke to talk about. But yeah.
Okay, so honestly, I think
a little Mandalorian. Like, oh my.
Honestly, God, I think this is what happened, and this is kind of where I'm going from it. We're not sure exactly when Ben turned. We know he turned in his late teens, like right around 20. So 5 to 7 years before the Force Awakens. I think season 3 of Mandalorian is going to have a huge time jump. I think we're going to time jump to that era, and I think Mando is going to be doing his Mando thing. And he's going to get a communique. And I think season 3 is him going to rescue Baby Grogu as, basically Kylo Ren becomes Kylo Ren. And like Luke's going to think Grogu's dead, but Daddy Mando came and scooped him out. That's my theory.
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen in season 3 because they've built up so much of the Mandalorian stuff that they're going to have to do that.
Oh, so go to Mandalore.
But yeah, Mandalore and like seizing back Bo-Katan. Mm-hmm. And hit the eventual fight that they will have.
Which is bullcrap because okay, hold on, pause. Christina, first explain what you're talking about with the combat between Ben and Bo-Katan.
And I have an answer for you too, Shaun. So, hold
on, let me give you my skeptical face.
I already saw it. You see this fist, you fill in the blank. But
no.
But yeah, so the whole story behind that is Bo-Katan joins Mando on this mission because she wants to get Moff Gideon and get the Darksaber back. And the Darksaber is a rightful, I guess, property or rightful relic of Mandalore. So anyone who wields it is the rightful ruler to, their king, Mandalore. And she was the last owner before Moff Gideon. And so whatever happened there, she is on this warpath to get it back. Now, when she had the Darksaber the first time back in Rebels, Sabine had it for the longest time, but she gave it to Bo-Katan. And, you're supposed to, through their tradition, you're supposed to actually fight for it. The victor gets the Darksaber. This didn't happen between her and Sabine, but but it's going to happen between her and the Mandalorian.
And that's what I call bullshit, because literally when Sabine gives the Darksaber over to Bo-Katan, it's in front of every clan of Mandalore. They're all there. All the heads of state are seeing this, and she's like, okay, I'll take it. Because Sabine's like, my turn. So I watched it 4 days ago, okay? Pissed me off. So then Jen is in a room with one other freaking Mando, and he's like, I don't care. Take the damn thing. I yield. You win. There is no reason why she could have taken it from him. No.
It's a long game, okay? She's playing it kinky. Let her have her moment.
Maybe she wants to, like...
She doesn't want it to be immediately submissive.
So here's the thing. In Rebels, though, all or most of the major houses from Mandalore are present. Including Sabine's, and she's already been on this revolution for them to get back, their homeworld. Sabine giving the Darksaber to her because she doesn't want to bear the responsibility of ruling them. With the approval of all the houses, she was able to give the Darksaber to Bo-Katan, who is, the rightful ruler after. What was her name? Satine was assassinated.
I don't know. This all sounds like some Mando problems, all right?
But she can't.
First world Mando problems.
Hang on. I'm not finished with my thought yet.
That's why she lost it.
She can't, because she lost it in battle. But she has to regain it in battle, or else she's going to lose faith with the other houses.
Well, because she's already lost it in battle, so for her to just take it again implies that she's weak. So maybe she just can't, in good conscience, take it and look weak again.
Yeah,
they just want Den to beat the crap out of her, and then Den's going to be the king of the Mandos, and it's going to be awesome.
I mean, that is also true. We want an epic fight between Mandalorians, but still, I mean, I can honestly see that thought process happening.
I just, in that moment when I had just seen her take it from Sabine, like, okay, well, you can yield it to me, no problem. And then, like, when the exact same scenario happens, and she's just like, no, I got to kick your ass for it. I felt that was a little bit of a cop-out.
She wants to.
I guess, I don't know.
Into him, and this is foreplay.
Maybe this is...
He's like, you were submissive too soon. I want to make you submissive.
I mean, he's already...
I fight Daddy Mando for his Darksaber.
She wants to Mandalorian. That's what it is. She wants to, she wants to check out the strength of his best part.
Just stand in line like the rest of us.
Yep.
Back of the line, bitch.
Pick a number.
Look, y'all can have them.
You want to get to the front of the line?
No, y'all can have them. I'm just gonna go and hang out over here with Poe. What's up?
Hey, wait, what are you doing over there?
Well, I'm just saying, you can't have it all.
I mean, I can.
Yeah. There are very clear camps on the show. And choose your camp wife, I suppose. But
I'm a single girl. I need to flutter about.
True. Them there's facts.
Oh,
shoot
Lord.
your shot.
All of the shots.
All of them.
All over her. You know what?
Comments. We hated Mando, right? It was garbage.
We have 3 single women on this podcast and a married woman who is not dead. So
Right.
It's fair. I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting the eye.
You gotta expect horny on Maine, at least from one of them.
Right? It's horny. It's not just for boys.
You can give me the stink eye all you want. I'm not dead. So. And when he took that helmet off, I don't know how anybody could not fall in love immediately. When he took his helmet off and cried, that little tear down his
You didn't fall in love with him a little bit? Come on. Just
Okay. I was like, oh my God, he took his helmet off for him. But I wasn't like, oh my God, I must mount his face now that his helmet is off. I was just like,
it was more like a swoon. Like a swoon.
I just thought, yeah, it was sweet. I was like, he gets to see his face. Oh, put it back on.
He left.
Shaun's like,
he just left.
The horn dogs can have the show.
Shaun's like, I have lost this battle. Maybe he's going to watch it and get in touch with his feminine side.
Oh yeah.
And come back and tell us how he started to ovulate by watching it.
Right? Sexuality is fluid. It is a scale.
Understands now.
I'm just sitting here listening to you guys. No, I felt like I was in the wrong room for a second. I was like, they're gonna have a moment. They should have their moment. I just,
Don't give us a moment because we'll take an hour.
Yeah, have you met us?
I mean, to be fair, we've been talking for an hour and about 10 minutes, and we've only really done about 15 solid minutes of Mando talk. The rest of it's been about ovaries exploding and what we've been doing. But you know what?
That's still Mando talk. I don't understand what you're saying.
I do love Moff Gideon to stay on track of Mando. Like as it is, Giancarlo, I love him anyway, but I love him. Yeah, I love him as Moff Gideon. And can we talk about the dubstep Dark Troopers? Like how he's like, activate the Dark Troopers, and it was like, do. And I was like, oh my god,
that song was awesome.
It was fantastic.
Amazing. Oh, yeah.
I like
Moff Gideon is so awesome.
Didn't Bo-Katan get hit? We didn't see her at the end. You did. She just put her helmet back on. But she was there. She was in the background. There was only 2 Mandos other than Boba and Din. So and they were both standing.
The actress who, or I guess her WWE name is Sasha Banks, right. But I think she was the one who got hit, but she's wearing that Mando armor. It kind of it just knocks her out.
What I need to do to get into the Star Wars franchise is start wrestling or MMA fighting.
I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Or you can also be a super awesome stunt woman whose godfather was Bruce Lee.
That's awesome.
MMA fighting is probably the only one I can get into.
Join the 501st. You'll be in it.
My beautiful friend.
Yeah. You can join the 501st. When they're short on costumes and manpower, they're going to call those guys.
They're going to call them.
They're going to call, and you're going to be there. I will answer the call. This is the way.
I'm going to start MMA fighting. Somebody sign me up for a trainer.
So, with that all said, loved the ending. That final shot of Luke getting back in the lift. And the doors closing, and honest to God, they could have said, "That's it. That's the end of Mando." And I would have died. But it would have been in a good way because that was such a great ending. It felt like a complete. We've told the story, And for me, I think the reason why we're getting this Book of Fett next year is because I really do think we're going to get a time jump of some kind. I don't think we're going to just come right back to Din just being a bounty hunter out there. I think. Because they know that Mando and Grogu go so well together, they've got to jump ahead in time a little bit.
I think as a person, he has evolved more than just hunting for the next paycheck because of his time spent with the baby.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that he will take his helmet off. I mean, the taking of the helmet off the first time, a couple episodes back, that was a big deal, And I mean, even when that happens, Bill Burr, I forget the name of his character. It's like McDuffie or something. No, seriously, it's like McDonald McDuffie, something like that. But when Bill Burr basically is like, I didn't see nothing, and he turns his head away, because he's being a good mensch because he knows that pained. Mando to do that. That was a cool moment. But for him to then
how much he loved the child is that he was willing to sacrifice his ideals.
Well, I also think he's having a bit of a faith crisis, to be honest. I think he's seeing different ways to be a Mandalorian, and I think that is part of it. I think yes, it's for sure because of the kid that he is willing to take those things, but I think some of the indoctrination of him is being
very much religion.
Yeah, it's being questioned, and he's finding his way of being Mandalorian, and that there are other ways to be Mandalorian. So he's going to find his
death cult anymore, because that was the whole thing. The death cult was the people who raised him, so they were the ones who were we can never take off our helmet. Right. So that's an interesting take, and I like the fact that they just put that on Front Street. Yeah, there's different ways to be a Mando. If you've watched Clone Wars, the really screwed up part is at the time where the Clone Wars was happening, the Mandos were pacifists. All the ones who wore the T-shaped helmet, they were kicked off. They were living on a moon. and they were basically decommissioned. They said, you can't live on Mandalore anymore. You're not allowed to be here because you won't embrace a pact of pacifism. And the Clone Wars basically is the Mandalorian Civil War sparking back up, even though it's not the Mandalorian Civil War, it's the second one. And that basically throws them into turmoil, which eventually lets Darth Maul come over and rule them, and all kinds of crazy crap. If you've watched the Clone Wars cartoons, seriously, crazy shit happens during that series that basically turns the Mandalorians back into warlike beings. And we know from the end of Clone Wars, going through Rebels, by the time we get to Din Djarin's time, about 5 years after Return of the Jedi, the Empire has turned the surface of Mandalore basically to glass. They've just firebombed it to hell. So the Mandos re-embracing their path of violence, which is what Satine was trying to keep them from, which is Bo-Katan's sister, who was the pacifist that had led them out of their anger.
Also in love with Obi-Wan.
With Obi-Wan, eventually, like the thing that she feared the most, which is that they would all be wiped out, or their planet would be inhospitable, essentially comes to pass. So it is interesting that the thing that Satine had been fighting for so many years eventually actually does occur. And so there's a nice symmetry there. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm interested to see where they go. But I also like the fact that we're seeing now that Din has been exposed to a much larger world, because the thing that I think is interesting is that Din basically is completely just stupid of all things Star Wars that we take for granted. He's like, what's a Jedi? You know, he's like, he has no idea about these things. He goes and he shoots a guy, and he knows his Mando culture, and that's it. And as he's being exposed, he has radically changed over these 16 episodes. And I love that about him.
Yeah. By the time that this ended, I started realizing something that, and I think it was, someone used the word diaspora, and that's basically what's going on with, like how spread out the Mandalorians are right now. So like you got all these Mandalorians from Din's, whole world, just in hiding. Like they're hiding their numbers, and basically, and he only knows his like little bubble where, right, in like this one planet, and then on another planet or another part of the galaxy, you get the night owls. That's Bo-Katan's people.
They're night owls now, but they were Death Watch at one point, yeah.
But yeah, you get Bo-Katan's people, and then you get Boba Fett and his own like little personal creed. So he's finding out while he's on this journey that there are so many different, I guess, flavors of Mandalorian.
Right. And
he's just now starting to learn its history and culture. And it kind of speaks for a bunch of, like, I'll put it out there, Filipino Americans who they, and for a bunch of other diaspora, like just Asian Americans in general. They know a little bit about what they've been taught from their parents, while also being simulated into the new culture that they're in, like in the immediate new culture. But then they branch out a little bit more and find out about, their culture and their history, and they want to learn more. And they start to see the world a little differently, which is what's happening to Din as the Mandalorian.
Right.
So I thought that was another level of.
Do you want to know more?
Do you want to know more? But yeah, that's a level of appreciation that I have for the show now.
Right. No, I definitely think that that's a good point. And I think you're absolutely right. And I think one thing that we as Star Wars fans take for granted is that we assume that every person who lives in the Star Wars universe, knows all the information we know. And we have to remember the fact that just, 20 years after the Clone Wars, people basically didn't know what a Jedi was anymore. They thought it was just a hokey religion that nobody really believed in the Force. And you have to remember that at their height in the Clone Wars, there was only 10,000 Jedi. And I say that, and I was like, that sounds like a lot.
Well, even during the Jedi, I would say that even during the time when the Jedi had numbers, right, even though they were small, they didn't go to the Outer Rim. So even when they had a temple, they were still mythical the further out you went, because they had no reason to go out there.
Well, and also 10,000 you have to remember that we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of civilized worlds, that are all interchanged. I mean, you saw the Republic chambers, and that's just the people who were in the Republic. And there were literally hundreds of those little floating daises that they had. And then you have the Outer Rims, and the Outer Rims are traditionally the syndicates. So you have the Hutt syndicates, and you have the Black Suns, and all those different kind of syndicates out there.
On those planets, Jedi would just be like a rumor.
Yeah, I mean, so even in their heyday, Jedi are still legendary. So, we're like, man, why don't they have more of this? Or why don't they have more of that? Mandalorians are considered fairly rare, even though right now it seems like everything that Star Wars is basically Jedi or Mandos, but it's like at the same time, that's the only stuff they've really gotten into deep. And I think that as Star Wars goes along, I think the fun part will be to see what they're going to expand upon next.
So I have another important question.
Okay.
Is Grogu a clone?
I think he will
I don't
be.
think so.
I think he will be cloned, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because part of them taking. I had that thought myself, like not current, but Moff Gideon was like, we need his blood because there are different things that could potentially rule the galaxy and blah blah blah. I mean, why not clone him and make a Sith version of Grogu, or a dark Grogu?
But even Grogu himself.
Nah, I don't think so. Why? Why would he be?
He is, but I think that's one of the purposes of them getting him.
I kind of started to feel like maybe he was something put together by those Kaminoans when they were breeding the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And Yoda found out about it, like, oh, well, maybe they can make another one of me, Well, but the timeline doesn't quite add up.
Because you have to remember that Grogu would have already been 10 by the time the Phantom Menace happened. So the timeline doesn't quite line up.
Yeah.
So the thing that I think is interesting is the fact that they talk about the fact that when they're talking to Ahsoka, they refer to the fact that Grogu basically had to flee the temple during Order 66, and then it's darkness. I'm kind of the mind that maybe he had been in suspended animation for a while. Like maybe somebody literally hid him like in a cryo tube or something.
And that's why he's 50 and still a baby.
That's why he's aged 50, but he's still just a baby, because Yoda was a Jedi Master by the time he was 100 years old. He was the head of the Jedi Order for 800 years. So I can't imagine, a young on this age scale, I can't imagine him, being 50 and still being a child. It doesn't mathematically quite line up.
But they live so long, right? I mean, they can live to be hundreds, if not almost 1,000 years old. So I mean, 50 would make sense.
Right, but how is Yoda a Jedi Master at 100 years old then, if his timeline is, because that would mean that, right? I mean, that he'd be like 10 at 100 years old. He can't be a Jedi Master at 10.
If at 50 years old, if Grogu is aging the way he's supposed to, he's still the equivalent of like a 2-year-old.
Yeah, he can't even word yet. So you're telling me that in 50 years, I mean, maybe the first 50 years.
We don't know how the aging process works. And this is why
I did start to think that maybe he was in some sort of like stasis.
Right.
Well, you pointed it out earlier today or yesterday, Shaun, that in the Star Wars universe, people age rapidly. Them city miles.
Oh God, yeah, I was talking about how bad we got city miles. Yeah.
They do on the Outer Rims.
On the Outer Rim is city miles.
And on a Hutt planet, it's Hutt miles.
Yeah.
but like it could be one of those things where in the Star Wars universe they age rapidly depending on who you are, I guess. But like in the span of 10 or 15 years, you instantly go from like in your 20s to in your 50s and 60s.
Maybe, yeah. Seriously, they're talking about the fact that, we're basically going to get the Obi-Wan series coming out in the next, it's 13, 14 months.
Who's going to be Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan is going to be Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he's back.
Your boy, Ewan McGregor.
He's back, baby.
Hayden Christensen is coming back as Vader, and Ewan McGregor is going to be Obi-Wan in the middle point between Clone Wars and A New Hope. So we're going to get him, but not quite to the age he is in Rebels, which is only a couple months when he kills Darth Maul. I think it's like a year or something before Luke finds him. So yeah, so at whatever point in time, they have to start graying out Ewan McGregor. Like he has to he's got to start showing the miles a little bit, right? Like he can't just be what he looks like really, because he still looks fairly youthful by comparison to Alec Guinness at the time. Just
he's kind of like 70.
Well, I think Alec Guinness was in his early 60s, or he was 60 when he did it. But I mean, Ewan McGregor
70s, and everyone already looked old.
Right.
But you know what? This may give us a chance to see a budding silver fox Ewan McGregor.
Ooh, I'm here for that.
I sign up and volunteer.
All right, so here I'm going to let you guys have your. You keep talking. I'm just going to be over here.
Okay, yeah, let Shaun leave the
Go
room.
to your shame corner.
Okay, Ewan McGregor, Loosh.
Right? Do you remember that movie where he was in the bathtub? It was great.
I mean, I just like him in Moulin Rouge singing, and he can sing to me and do dirty things to me all day long.
God bless Scotland.
Oh yeah, or he could just have his real accent, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn.
Okay, so,
Hi, Shaun.
I'm gonna let y'all know it's true. I used to be deeply in love with Ewan McGregor, but I just didn't like the way he did his wife.
That's true.
That kind of salted me to him a little bit. Like,
what did he do to his wife?
He left
her for Ramona Flowers.
Yeah.
I mean,
for Mary Elizabeth Weinstein. Yeah, I was like, I kind of like. I even told Laura, I was like, I kind of get it, and she's like, I will slap you. I was like, I get that, and it would be the same.
Forever, and they had a whole bunch of kids. It's
yeah, but look, in the grand scheme of is not only real life but shitty Hollywood life, in the grand scheme of what you can do to your partner, spouse, whatever, leaving her to go with someone else is way better than beating the crap out of her, shooting her,
yes.
throwing dogs on her.
You take it and put it in that
cheating to manslaughter. Yes, cheating is better. Yes,
however,
absolutely.
What I just did not like is I didn't like that his wife of like 25, 30 years, who had been with him before he was even famous and was like poor and, you know, a burgeoning actor.
It was the First Wife Club.
And
did he cheat on her, or did he just leave her?
Oh yeah, he cheated on her,
and then he left her.
Okay,
he bounced.
They met during Fargo, which is the most unattractive I've ever seen him.
Yes, right.
She was like, "Yes, I know what you look like cleaned up, so I will go for that now."
So that season of Fargo that they did together, they started hooking up after hours. And then she left her husband and he left his wife.
You know, I'm not. I don't condone it, but I'm also like,
I mean, he did.
She's still down with him as Obi-Wan. It's okay.
Yes.
I just pretend that he's Obi-Wan now and not Ewan McGregor.
I want to pretend he is Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, actually, Laura actually really did like him in Red Rum.
And Dr. Sleep.
Sorry, when we watched
Dr.
when we watched the most recent one, Red Rum was the
Dr. Sleep. Yeah, Dr. Sleep. There you go.
I'm sorry. I'm a Stephen King nerd. I'm so sorry.
I had some overlap. I didn't hear you. What was that?
Oh no, I just said I apologize. I'm a Stephen King nerd, so I just.
Me too.
I was like, no, Dr. Sleep.
No, I normally would too, but my brain is just like not pulling words right now. So
Anastasia and I are going to be friends for sure.
Yeah, it's honestly it was all that Ewan McGregor and Fargo talk, because I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen season 4 of Fargo yet. I need to go watch this.
That's the one with Chris Rock, right?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
It's Fargo. It's going to be good. Fargo is exceptional.
I understand some portion of it because I'm like, who exchanges kids? But it took me a second. I was like, stop it! Stop doing this!
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up our Star Wars talk, because we've been doing some Star Wars talk now for a while. Things that you would like to see going into Mando season 3. Anybody have something that you desperately want to see outside of bring back Baby Grogu?
Yes, I need more Moff Gideon.
You need more Moff Gideon?
I need more Moff Gideon.
Fair enough. Yeah. How about you, Anastasia? Anything that you would want to see coming into season 3?
I really just want to see more of his struggle with the Mandalorian doctrine. I really do. I just want to see him make these different choices and see what his ultimate Mandalorian form looks like.
Right.
So you want more tormented soul, so you can be endeared to him that much more, and be much more of a panty dropper. Gotcha.
Right. I want him to become fully Spike. No, just kidding.
Apparently we like our fictional men to be troubled.
I'll have to send you guys the little meme that what is it? It's like the girl, it says like well-adjusted, smart, caring men, and she's like, and then they're like brooding, troubled, dark souls, and she's like,
Yeah. I've seen those. I've seen similar to those. Okay, how about you, Christina? Something you'd like to see in season 3 of Mandalorian?
I want to see, kind of more like going off of what Anastasia said. I want to see more, like more Mando and Mandalorians. I kind of want to see them take back Mandalore in the next season, like or at least start to, because we have this trend of like there being only 10 episodes, so I don't know if they're going to go full on revolution, but you know what? I'm down for it. I want to see Mandalore get their day.
It could be cool. Absolutely. We got a comment from a Cat Gangster. He says, I want him to make his Beskar steer into some badass weapon. It already is, I would argue, a badass weapon.
Yeah. And Pedro Pascal learned his lesson. He kept his helmet on.
He did. He got his head crushed in Game of Thrones. He learned wear a helmet.
Aww.
Sweetie.
Don't bring that back. It was
too soon.
It's too soon.
It was very traumatizing. I didn't close my eyes or anything when I saw that scene. I was like, I still can't.
The Mountain and the Viper. Yeah.
So normally I would go to Laura at this point and ask her, but she had to step away for a minute. So I'll tell you what I would love to see. I want to see the fallout between him and the Death Cult, because one of the questions they ask before they service any of his armor is, have you kept the creed? Have you kept your helmet on? Have you not revealed yourself to outsiders? And one thing that we've learned from Din Djarin is that he is like really honest to a fault. Like he does not like to lie. He just doesn't see the use of it. So I can absolutely see him walking into the next, enclave whenever he finds it. And basically the armor is just standing there looking all badass in her armor guild and whatnot. And just totally dropping the, have you kept the creed? And he just flat out says, I've not. And what does that do? How does that change his relationship to that version of the Mandalorians?
What if they just go, okay.
I mean, they could, but I think that'd be anticlimactic. I think it would probably be something more along the lines of they would try to strip him of his armor. Like they would actually try to take back what they've given him. So
I want to see that armor again.
The armor is awesome. I still, every time I see her, I am reminded of when they gave Diana in Wonder Woman the actual mantle of God of War. At one point in the comic book, she kills Ares and she becomes the new God of War, and she basically puts on his helmet, and I swear to God, it looks like the Mandalorian's armorer, and it came out before that. So if you look at them side by side, I'm like, somebody was reading this comic book and said this would make a really great outfit for somebody who's big into making armor. So we're going to have that character in here. This is what she's going to look like. So she looks like Wonder Woman. So if you ever want to know what Wonder Woman would look like as a Mandalorian, boom, there you go. But yeah, I would like to see that. I think that would be a really great plot point. And I think that we've already discussed it. I think ultimately where we're seeing this show go is we're going to have some kind of showdown between Grogu and Mando reuniting because of, more than likely, Ben Solo losing his absolute nut and trying to destroy the Jedi Temple. And does that happen? Does Mando get him out sooner? Is he there the night of and like he's saving him in a burning building? Like, what does that look like? We'll get there. I was actually going to answer your question earlier, Brittany. You had asked what was one of the purposes of Grogu and the blood. I personally think, and I think that one thing that they've done, how you doing, Menj? I think one of the things that they're building up towards is, I think what they're doing is they're trying to make Snoke clones. They've already shown the clones, but I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a clone that has enough connection to the Force where the Emperor's spirit is able to control them. because that was the implication in the rise of Skywalker, was that all the Snoke clones were basically imperfect duplicates of him that he was basically kind of controlling through the Force. So with that in mind, I think that's what they're going for, is they're basically using Grogu blood in order to try to get more, forgive the word, midichlorians into the clones, so that way they can actually create Snoke. So I think what we're seeing is the early parts of Snoke. I juggle poo. Hi, I juggle poo. We're doing fine. Sorry, I just got a hey, what's up, Shaun? I'm like, I'm doing fine, juggle. But I just see the last part of the no. Seriously, the name, it's killing me.
I see. I juggle poo.
I juggle poo, and I'm like, okay, there we go. That's a name. But yeah, so I think that's what I would love to see, and I think that's where we're going. I'm sorry, 3-3. You're correct. But I think that's where we're going to go eventually with all of the awesome Mando stuff. But with that said, before we get out of here, the last 20-30 minutes here before we go, I wanted to talk for a minute about no, none of the dogs came out with you. Sorry, Laura's looking for one of the dogs. Maybe she went downstairs. Courtney might have gone downstairs. She was out here with me earlier. Yeah, she's probably downstairs. Sorry about that. We had to make sure that okay, so let me tell you something. That's not a compliment, okay?
Wait, sure, it could be. Wait, shall we talk about the unconventional handsomeness of Seth Rogen and how I find him, like, I would do things to Seth Rogen, dude. His laugh is like, oh no, I don't want that. But like, Seth Rogen's an attractive man. I think so.
Agreed.
I think in the past like 5 years, he's become
and he's all
attractive.
like trying to go silver daddy. Well, I don't think he's trying. He just is. But like, he's silver going gray, and his gray is going. Yeah, it's like I saw him while in quarantine. They did some interview, and I was like, oh, look at this wannabe silver fox.
People say that you look like him though, because I don't see it.
I don't see it either. But I'm just saying, Seth Rogen being called Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But I get that. But you know what? In the early 2000s, I got Shrek, so I'll take Seth Rogen over Shrek. How's that?
Wow!
Wow!
Yeah, I was like,
Shrek isn't even a real person.
Doesn't look like Shrek either.
So I don't agree with this. So I'll take Seth Rogen over Shrek any day of the week. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, it's not the compliment you think it is. Like, you know, people go, oh, you look like Seth Rogen. Really? Okay. Well,
I mean, like Brittany said, I would do things to him.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, hold on. So we were going to talk about unconventional Christmas movies to watch, but before we get to that, Brittany, have you seen An American Pickle yet on HBO Max?
No.
You need to watch it. It's hilarious.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
It's on my list, but I'm also like, I don't need it.
Okay, so I watched it one night.
It's funny. You should watch it.
Yeah, it's called An American Pickle, and the plot is that this I want to say, I forget which Slavic country he was from, but he was a Slavic Jew, and he was like, we got to get away from here. Him and his wife, they're like, we got to get away from these people who hate Jewish people. Let's come to America. Let's restart our lives. Right at the turn of the 20th century, so they come to the Bronx, or I think it was Brooklyn. I forget
Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was Brooklyn. So they go to Brooklyn and they settle in Brooklyn, and he becomes a pickle maker. He's at a pickle factory and they're making pickles. And one of his jobs was he has to scare the rats away from the pickles as they are brining them and getting them ready for transport. And literally what happens is that all these rats start pouring out of a wall at him. He freaks out and he falls backwards into a giant brine tub. And right as they do that, they cut. They close the brine barrel and they say, oh, we just got shut down for health violations. Everybody go home. And then they jump ahead 100 years. And so they say, okay, these kids are playing around in this old warehouse and they accidentally knock off the lid and he wakes up. And they're like, wait.
He's been preserved and alive in this pickle brine for 100 years.
For 100 years. the best part about this is they say, okay, well, how does this make sense? This is clearly bullshit. There's no way that he's still alive after 100 years. And so even the guy wants to know. He goes, yes, I would like to know how I'm alive after 100 years being in pickles. And so then he starts to explain that the doctor says, well, here's the science. And he goes over this chart. And on a voiceover, he says, he explained it very clearly. It made sense to everybody in the room. And all the reporters go, that makes so much logical sense. Thank you for explaining that. And they just move on. I lost my shit. It was so funny. The way they set this movie up, it is hilarious. And so then he meets his I think it's his great-grandson. And so his great-grandson tries to introduce him to the modern world, and shenanigans happen.
And all his greatest achievement in life was he wanted to have club soda.
Yes, that was he wanted to drink club soda one day, but it was too expensive. And so one of the things his great-grandson shows him, he goes, hey, do you want some club soda? And he's like,
he's got one of those machines in the kitchen. So he thinks he's like the king now because he's so rich. He has all of this stuff. So he must be the king. And he's like, no, whatever. I'm just a dude.
But I've got club soda. So yes, I'll give
it a whirl. I did finish, speaking of Seth Rogen, Big Mouth season 4. He's in it. And I love Big Mouth. I mean, dirty potty mouth animated humor, totally up my alley. Yeah, and Seth Rogen gets to be in it for a little bit, and it's pretty great.
Cool, fantastic. We do have one question about Star Wars real quick. And I think with Obi-Wan coming up, it's pretty much that's where we're going to see him. Darth Vader should return soon, personally. Yeah, you know what, Juggle? Actually, from what we can tell, Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan series. So when the Obi-Wan series comes out, you will be getting more Darth Vader. So that is on its way. But
we get more Ahsoka.
Ahsoka's got her own TV show. That's
she gets her own TV show. She'll be all right.
Yeah. So,
when will it take place?
It's going to take place at the same time as Mandalorian.
Yeah. So it picks up where her episode left off.
Right. And that should also line up more or less with Sabine. So if you've seen to the end of Star Wars Rebels, you know that Sabine is waiting on Lothar for Ezra to come back. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Star Wars Rebels basically takes place all the way up until Rogue One. The rebellion is coming together, but it's not quite the rebellion yet. And there's a cell of rebels who are together with this two Force users. One is Kanan and one is Ezra. Kanan is the Jedi Master who teaches Ezra what to do. Kanan eventually is no longer in the show. And Ezra is the last Force user that the rebellion has. And at the end of Rebels, Ezra vanishes with Thrawn. So you don't know if he survived. You don't know if Thrawn survived, but it's rumored that they're out there somewhere. So Sabine, the Mandalorian who had the Darksaber, who gave it to Bo-Katan, is waiting on Lothar for him to come home. And then one day Ahsoka shows up because she made a promise that she would come and find Ezra. So Sabine and Ahsoka go off to try to find Grand Admiral Thrawn and hopefully find Ezra.
Shaun, I'm going to let you finish.
That's it. I'm done.
Is there any food on the coffee table?
No.
Okay.
Do you want me to go look real quick?
Because I just imagine Corday pigging out on refried beans.
No, I moved it all, but I'll go double check real quick. Hold on. I'm going to go double check. Laura, you tell them about a Christmas movie or a movie that you like to watch at Christmas time that is atypical, and we're going to start that. But I'll start with Laura, and I'll be right back in a second.
Okay. So I don't know if it's atypical, but every December we like to watch The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Like the really long, unabridged, uncut, full-length adaptations. And I personally enjoy The Hobbit a lot more. I think people who have watched before know that I don't necessarily care that much for Lord of the Rings, but I have a soft spot in my heart for The Hobbit. And
are you talking the old school Hobbit that we grew up with?
Like the cartoon? Or you're talking about the new Hobbit movie?
No, the movie.
She's talking about the new one.
The movie.
Oh, see, I like the old one.
I like the cartoon.
So
I grew up with that. I'm like, that's my
heart in The Hobbit. And I love dwarves. So I love that the fact that there's an entire movie with nothing but dwarves being dwarves. And that makes me so happy, and I love it so much. So we always start with The Hobbit, and then we watch Lord of the Rings.
And they're always extended cuts too.
Yes. So it takes like 2 weeks to watch them all because there's so much movie.
Especially if we do the appendices. Sometimes we'll even do the appendices, so it's all the behind the scenes stuff too. It's a lot.
If you watch those, it's like 2 months worth of viewing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we space it out. Like when we watch these movies, one thing that we do is we treat it like TV shows. We'll watch like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then we'll just stop and we'll come back and watch more later. So we don't necessarily have to sit down and watch the whole movie because let's be fair, these extended cuts, they run 3.5, sometimes 4 hours.
Yeah. And our other tradition is when we put up the Christmas tree.
Yes.
We put it up to Gremlins.
Yeah.
And
all over my house.
Christmas Vacation. So in the time that we watch those two movies, our tree gets assembled.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Another series that we watch quite a bit at Christmas time, and the reason why is because I got the box set for it, the quadrology for it, years ago at Christmas. So I just watched it, and then it became a tradition, watch it again at Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I tend to block things out a year from each other, so that way I don't see it too many times, is the Alien quadrology. So I'll go through Alien.
It's totally a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Right. And as we talked about, Aliens has essentially become a Christmas movie, right? A woman whose work is just getting to the much of her, goes to a small, quiet, cold town, finds a little girl who's in look for a mother figure, and a rustic, hardworking man who just decides that she's the one, and they become a family unit by the end of the film.
See, for me, that's a New Year's story.
Yeah.
well, on New Year's Eve, we have to watch Strange Days.
As Christina knows, it's So this
and I have deeply suspicious thoughts because in 2019 we didn't watch Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and we didn't watch Strange Days, and then 2020
is your fault.
So 2020 is your blame for 2020.
Shame. I need like the shame bell.
To be fair, we didn't watch it in the right order. So I always watch Strange Days on New Year's Eve, and we've adjusted the tradition. It used to be that because I went to a midnight showing of Strange Days, or at midnight when it was first running, and they were running it, and it was supposed to finish at midnight for New Year's Eve. So I was like a teenager when it came out, and I was like, sure, I went to go see it. So from that point on, I was like, oh, it's a New Year's movie. Well, I'm going to watch this every New Year's Eve. And so very shortly thereafter, Laura and I got together and I introduced her to this movie, and I'm like, this is not a happy fluffy movie, this is Strange Days.
We have to put it on. We don't even have to watch it, but it has to come on New Year's Eve, or I'm convinced the year is cursed.
Well, do it.
Watch it last New Year's Eve, and 2020 was effing cursed.
Yeah, we watched it on January 1st instead of New Year's Eve, and Laura was like, that was the wrong choice. And we got through The Hobbit, but we never watched Lord of the Rings. And she was like, this year is cursed. And sure enough, you're kind of been cursed. So Laura's convinced, Laura's convinced that it's because we didn't watch our movies when we needed to.
Well, watch them now.
Yeah, can y'all start early?
We've done all the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings are done. So we've finished Lord of the Rings and Hobbit's
done. Lord of the Rings is done. Obviously, the Christmas tree is up. So we watched Christmas Vacation and Gremlins and what else have we watched?
Well, we've been going a little atypical because we've been doing Star Wars, like all the Star Wars movies this time. We've been enjoying those, kind of going through the, watching Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff. The only other thing that I'm going to watch, but it's not part of our tradition, is we like to watch Matrix. We like to watch the Matrix trilogy. So I'll sit down and watch those. And again, these are just movies that I get box sets at Christmas time. So, when box sets were a big deal, I would just start watching them, and it just became tradition to watch them at Christmas time. But one of the ones that I always think about when I'm a kid is what my dad would show me, which was around Christmas and around New Year's, they would always show all the Planet of the Apes movies. So
that seems more spring to me. I think my mom forced me to watch them in spring.
Definitely more Easter for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason, it always showed up. Like he would watch it on TBS, TNT, stuff like that. They would show them around New Year's. They would show them shortly around Christmas. So that's when he would show them to me, and I'm like, all right. So for me, they're winter movies, and I'm like, cool. Even though there's nothing wintry about them, you're right.
Well, I get it, because all of my movies are usually like, people are like, why do you watch that? I'm like, because there's Christmas in it. Leave me alone.
Right. I mean, even then, it's like,
you.
And I mean,
wearing green or red, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Right. Or I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think it's like whatever your family got around. I mean, I knew what season it was based on what movie we were watching, right? So if we're watching Godfather, it is winter, it is Christmas. If we're watching Jaws, it is summer.
Right.
If we're watching Gone with the Wind, it's spring.
Wow.
Yeah. So would you say Godfather would be your is Godfather one of those that you go to every year?
Yeah, we watch Godfather every year, the trilogy, and also Die Hard 2 and
Not Die Hard 1?
I'm in the second one, so my family supports me.
Wait, explain this. You being in the second one. Explain this. Are you like one of the kids in the airport?
I am one of the kids in the airport.
Are we easily able to point you out? Can we find you quickly?
I am the youngest one. So yeah, I'm the little red afro one. So
I need to look this up immediately.
Hold on, I'm doing a thing. Hold on, see if I can find my
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we watched that.
How far into the movie are you?
No, it's the beginning.
Oh,
Shaun's on it.
Yeah, I won't be able to play it with like any music or anything, but I'm going to find this bad boy.
Oh my God.
So when you say you're in the beginning, give me some vectors, give me some coordinates here.
Vectors, coordinates. I'm just saying carol, and then the thing blows up.
Like, or what are we talking? Like
you're one of the carolers.
Yeah, the carolers.
Oh, gotta mute that.
The American version.
Oh, gotta mute that. Hold on. So,
if you're watching the American version, you just see our feet.
Really?
I mean,
yeah. They didn't want to blow up kids in the American.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so a guy's yelling at him, towing his car, getting on a plane, blah blah blah.
You're in every other version, like the European version. They'll have kids getting blown
they
up.
like do a close up on my face, and then.
Now I got a naked man.
I don't know where I.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to go look at this later. Sorry. So, like I'm scrubbing, like I'm going. Like,
so we watched that. I'm trying to think of. We've been watching Gremlins since I was a kid, and then new one. I like to watch Krampus because it's a good family movie.
Yeah,
Krampus
is family fun.
I did watch Black Christmas, the new one this year, just when I was like putting my tree up, and I was like slightly disappointed because of the justification that they made. It was very because I think the thing that was creepy about it was that this guy was living in your like house.
The calls coming from upstairs, kind of thing. Yeah.
And then this was like some like. Magical.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not.
Because I talked to Christina about this on a previous thing that we were doing, and I promised her that we would talk about it like soon. I finally watched it last week because I was like, it didn't look good to me on the previews, and I was like, but I'm going to go check it out because Christina knows how much of a Black Christmas fan I am.
Yeah.
And by the way, my favorite version is Black Xmas, the one that came out about 15 years ago. I love that version of it. The first remake, not this one. Yeah, the first remake, because that one to me is
insist on remaking this movie like every 5 years now.
I think they're trying to figure out like another Christmas horror movie. And they just keep recycling the same idea, which is not there's so many creepy elements to Christmas. I don't understand why they have
the movie last week. What was it called? It was the one with the Santa, and he didn't like that the people running the company didn't care about the kids.
Oh, Danger! No, you're talking about that's the first. That was Christmas Evil.
Okay, so I got an idea watching this movie. How cool would this be? And it might exist already. It might exist already as a movie.
Okay,
if you hire a Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people do this to come to their party and give out their kids presents or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's how we got John Benet Ramsey. Continue.
Santa Claus is a psychopath.
Very bad joke.
And locks the family in the house and starts murdering them.
Santa murders the rich people who hired him?
Yes, because they hired this crazy man. Santas were all booked up all over the city, so they had to find someone who didn't have like the 5 stars on Yelp, but they needed a Santa Claus. So
do they have that on Yelp? I would like to look that up.
They bring him into the house to like be Santa Claus on Christmas Eve for the kids and whatever. And then psycho, he just wanted to get in your house and kill you. So it's like them on Christmas Eve with a killer Santa Claus in the house.
I mean, I like it. I'd watch it, but I watch any horror movie. So
it's called Christmas Evil. It was made, I think, in 1980, and it actually predates Silent Night, Deadly Night by a couple years. But the idea behind this one
could have, in that movie, if they had done something more logical, it could have made more sense. Because in that movie, the Santa was just like all over the place. But I kind of felt like maybe in this movie, he could have been like, he didn't, like maybe this Santa doesn't appreciate the gluttony of Christmas and he's just tired of it. And he thinks people have lost their way. And he comes into this house and he just sees all of the stuff they have and all of these gifts that they're giving their kids. And then he just snaps, and that's why he kills everybody. And it becomes a story about like the over commercialization of Christmas versus spending time with your family and not buying their love with new iPads every year. So this could be, I think, a really cool idea that they kind of touched on a little bit. I mean, even though it was in the 80s and the plot was more like these were orphans, and he felt that the hospital didn't care enough about them to make sure that they were able to experience Christmas.
Here, now we're Christmassy themed. There we go.
There's a Christmas helicopter right out my door.
Oh, nice.
Hollywood.
I made a little Christmas little Christmas theme there. But yeah, so Christmas Evil is basically about a man who, as a kid, was absolutely smitten with the idea of Santa Claus. And his dad actually snuck into the house one night as Santa Claus to surprise the family, and the kids loved it. And then basically the mom said, "Okay, now you have to go back to bed. You know, Santa's got to go on to the next house." And so the kids snuck back downstairs, and he saw the Santa dad given the mom head, and it kind of warped him a little bit. So he started to see things in very kind of like you're either naughty or nice terms, and it kind of exacerbated out more and more and more. It's very flimsy logic on that point, but the idea is that he's so obsessed with Santa that he wants to actually be Santa for the boys and the girls in the neighborhood. So if they're naughty, he's like, well, they're not going to get presents. If they're good, they're going to get presents. And he works at a toy store, and he's trying to do good things. And the problem is that he's just deeply, deeply, deeply disturbed and bent. And so when people are naughty, he just kind of loses it. So like one person gets stabbed in the eye, and but then he immediately turns around and I'm sorry. No, it was a tin toy. It was one of those
a wooden soldier. It was the little sword.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soldiers
I'm okay with that.
So he gets him with that, but then he turns around and he leaves the scene of that crime, and then he goes and he finds a Christmas party, and he gives all the kids out all these toys not covered in blood, and he dances with everybody, and he tells them they're all good boys and girls, and then he leaves, and
then he goes to another house and kills another person.
It's very weird because you actually feel very sympathetic for this character because you see what he's trying to do, but you also see that he's kind of losing it. So even at the end of the movie, it becomes Frankenstein's monster, where like in the middle of like New York, they get like torches and they're running down like the streets trying to find Santa. It's
Santa.
Yeah, it's a very weird movie.
It also had the greatest Santa costume. It was so cool. It had like a hoop in the bottom, so it kind of like bounced around like, hoop skirts do, except that it wasn't all the way to the ground. It came to about his knees. So his little coat would weeble wobble with the little hoop when he ran. And it was so cute.
Okay, so, but yeah, that's Christmas Evil. How about you, Brittany? What's a Christmas movie that you love to check out?
Okay, so I put much thought into this. I love Christmas. I love horror movies. So, but I also like the unconventional one. So my number one, it's not Christmas until I've watched Batman Returns.
Yeah.
I gotta have it. And, I tell these people, look, if stupid ass Die Hard can be a Christmas movie, which, by the way, it's not. Don't just saying, look, Bruce Willis himself said it's not a Christmas movie. If the man said it's not a Christmas movie, not a Christmas movie.
But anyway, you know what? That's not how it goes, though. The people first off, my show. No, but but no, seriously though. I mean, if people say it's a Christmas movie, it could be a Christmas movie. It doesn't. That whole argument.
Fine.
Yeah, just,
and I
just
guess
like
Halloween is a Christmas movie now.
Yeah, I mean, A Nightmare Before Christmas, absolutely.
No. At Christmas time
Halloween.
and it brings you joy, then it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I mean, if it does, okay.
Fine, the movie Irreversible is a Christmas movie.
Sure.
If you want to watch Irreversible and that brings you Christmas joy, sure.
Or wait, what's the other one that Requiem for a Dream? Oof.
Okay, I know for a fact you've seen that movie one time.
I've seen it more than one time. I watch it once a year.
You literally told me that that's a movie that you can only watch one time.
Once a year.
Okay.
Once a year. That's it. It gets I watch it once a year because I'm like, oh my God, it's a great movie. And why haven't I need to watch it? And then I'm like,
that's why I need to.
And then I forget. Okay. But
you feel bad about Keith David, so.
Oh God! Oh, we're not doing that. No, no. There's a Keith David story, kids.
Oh, there's a long Keith David story.
There's a couple of them. We're not doing it.
Oh yeah,
we're not doing that.
We're not doing it. Batman Returns. So I love, first off, best Batman, best Catwoman, hands down. You can fight all day about it. Definitely. And best Batman. Come on, Keaton forever. So I remember watching that. In the theater with my dad. And I remember when, spoiler alert, the Penguin dies. I remember being so upset and crying in the theater and I was like, he just wanted his family to love him. And my dad was like, but he's also trying to murder a bunch of kids. I was like, he's just misunderstood.
He just wanted people to accept him for who he is.
He's a deformed and unconventionally ugly man. Can't we show him some love? And then penguins come out and do the processional down into the water, and that kind of made me giggle. But I love Batman Returns. I will watch it all day, every day. I made a list. I didn't want to forget anything. Definitely the original Black Christmas, not this garbage ass remake that I don't even want to. Oof. Lord help me. We're not doing it.
You didn't like the white male privilege cult?
I don't. It didn't. Oh, okay. It didn't need to be Black Christmas. It just call it anything else, because it was like a cross between the Skulls. You remember the Joshua? Yeah.
It was
like that plus gay female girl power. Look, I'm all girl power. I'm down for it. But the way that they did it, it's just so ham-fisted, shove it down your throat, that even I, as a feminist, was like, I'm going to use my second F-bomb. Oh, fuck y'all. Because it was garbage.
You know what it was? You know what I think it was? Is I think, because I don't know who wrote it, but it feels to me like a person who wanted to write a feminist movie that, first off, probably wasn't a feminist, and probably was also not even remotely interested in understanding what being a feminist is. So it's like, oh, well, it was probably a person who actually really resented feminists and was like, well, I want to make a movie that's going to be exactly what they want, and they're going to hate it. Like that's what that movie feels like.
Yeah, or we just were like, ooh, feminism is a buzzword and it's all the rage in the Me Too movement. So let's do a girl power movie without truly getting let's do one that's very surface level.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, original Black Christmas.
I looked it up. Sophia Takal and April Wolf wrote the screenplay, and Sophia Takal directed it.
Well, then they missed the freaking bus on that one, man. I don't know where, because there's some good ideas in there. Like there's some good ideas, but it didn't come together, because I think what you said, Brittany, is true. I think it felt a little ham-fisted. It didn't. It almost felt like propaganda.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the good one. Black Christmas, the original from the 70s, 79?
Yeah, it's like 78, 79,
something like that. Let's talk about that one, because that one is fantastic. If you've never seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you. It's really old, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's the ending is my favorite part. Or actually, no, it's not even the ending. It's the beginning, where the first death happens, and then you get to the end of the movie, and the two things connect, and I just love it. I love a good slasher, sorority girls during Christmas. Hey, Psycho.
Oh man, I just looked at 1974.
74. Okay.
74. Wow, I didn't realize it was quite that old.
Yeah, and it holds up. It's really good. Speaking of movies that hold up, definitely watch Gremlins. Gremlins is fantastic. It the animatronics and everything are still so friggin' good.
Yeah.
And the ref. I love the ref. I know it's got problematic Mr. Man, Kevin Spacey in it, but Kevin Spacey is a great actor. Like, I'm not saying that makes up for all the shittiness that he is, but if you can put the art before the artist, separate the two, art from artist, Kevin Spacey in that movie, along with Dennis Leary. I love the ref. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, I mean, I kind of look at that the way I look at like me watching Baby Driver, which is like, I bought it before all this stuff happened, before it all kind of came out. I own the movie. I'm not going to refuse to watch that movie because of one actor. I'm not going to, support Kevin Spacey in any future projects.
Sure.
But if I already own the damn movie, it's already here. Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to deprive myself of a movie.
Seven is one of the best movies ever, and I'm not going to stop watching Seven.
Exactly, right? The Usual Suspects or something, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But the ref, it's not his finest work, but it is really good, and it's a great Christmas movie. And then the only other two things that I really watch are I have to watch Love Actually, which I know a lot of people moan and groan and roll their eyes. But one of the reasons I really love Love Actually is because of the fact that it's not all happy endings. And I'm a fan of not all happy endings. Like, if you kind of put it together, you have all these different stories and there's heartache and you think, oh, everything's going to reconcile it. Everyone's going to be happy and have a great Christmas. No. So, I rest in peace, Alan Rickman, who also is a diehard, but I mean, he's still a lecherous, semi-cheating kind of guy, and like his family's broken and they're trying to fix it. And then the girl and the guy from The Office, and she's got her mentally ill brother, and then she never gets to get her D on. I feel that girl. Like, I felt that in my soul. So I really love her, and I love that scene. Yeah. So,
but hey, I hear a lot of people say the way to make Love Actually work, especially if you hate that Alan Rickman more or less gets away with it, is to watch that and then watch Die Hard right after it, and you get to see him dropped off the side of the building. So there you go. Like, you basically, it's like the next Christmas that he's dropped out the side of a building.
I don't know that he got away with it.
Or you can just watch Harry Potter, where he dies.
No.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you can't reconcile, I can, obviously. So, and then I agree with you guys, Laura and Shaun. You got to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation faux show.
Yeah, I enjoy that one quite a bit. Yeah, that's a pretty fantastic one. But yeah, I mean, Love Actually, I enjoy it for the comedy, but like the people are pretty garbage in that movie for the most part. Like the one.
That's just because they're like people.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty garbage for the most part. For the garbage people who are
not like super hallmarky.
It's not, and the people who are really sincere.
Okay with that.
The people who are sincerely pleasant in that movie, like Bill Nighy, basically realizing not only does he love his partner, his manager, but he also basically realizes he's gay. Like, that all hitting him at Christmas time, and he's like, shit, the only person who I want to be around is this guy. Oh shit. And like, you can see it through the movie as it's kind of like all landing on him. He's like, and like he like, you could almost see like at one point, like I swear, like you just want to like just kind of see him kind of like just blink really big and get like giant anime eyes.
We watched that had Kate Winslet in it.
Ooh, The Holiday.
That's another romantic Christmas theme movie people might like.
Is that the one where? But I don't want romantic. We want unconventional.
It is unconventional in the fact that, okay, so Jack Black and Kate Winslet basically have a thing, and then if you want like the attractive people, Cameron Diaz and Jude Law are on the other side.
Is that the one where they switch houses or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's The Holiday?
Yeah, it's a fun movie. But like I said, but you have that, and then you have who was it? Who was the dad who had lost the wife and he was with the son? What was the actor who played that? I forgot now. And the son's in love with the girl, and he's got to try to get him to the airport on time. Who played that?
Liam Neeson?
Wait, are you talking about Love Actually? Or are you talking about
Love Actually? Yeah.
Oh, Liam Neeson, yes. And he talks about Claudia Schiffer and that whole thing. And
man,
I love
Liam
that.
Neeson in that one, like Liam Neeson melts my heart in that movie. I'm like, oh, see, this is also, and for me, he's the same dad who's like, I will find you and I will kill you. Like,
Liam Neeson always melts my heart. I love Liam Neeson.
Fun fact: Liam Neeson also has a big penis.
Every time we bring up Liam Neeson, Brittany has got every time, Brittany. Every time. We almost got through it. Oh.
I'm sorry, go watch High Spirits, and he's so hot.
You have to know.
Young Liam Neeson is so hot. Like, go watch High Spirits with Peter O'Toole and Steve
or Rob Roy.
It's old. It's old.
Kroll. Go watch Kroll. Go watch Liam Neeson and Kroll.
No. Just go watch him in High Spirits. He's a handsome, rugged Irish ghost, and like he gets all wet in the shower because he's trying to like
work on his willy. That was the reason why Daryl Hannah wouldn't sleep with him.
Oh,
you know what? It's a big willy. How dare you? Don't ruin.
What are your choices?
Just think about the big willy. Don't think about the wards.
What
okay.
Kevin?
Okay. Well,
hey man, bring the lube. We got this.
You know what? Texture.
No. I ain't scared no bit.
Then Shaun is out. Hi, out there.
Okay.
So
Christina, go for it.
I haven't really been a fan of Christmas for the longest time, but 2020 has been kind of like a shit year anyway. So
what?
I've sort of embraced the whole Christmas movie thing.
Okay.
But like, and some people will actually know that I usually hate Christmas movies, but I do watch all of the Christmas episodes of Bob's Burgers.
True.
Whenever I'm making dinner. I do like Shazam is now on my list.
Oh, Shazam's so good.
Yep. Yeah.
Happiest Season on Hulu. I saw that
movie. No.
I saw it earlier this year. It's like it is one of those movies that I will only watch once a year, but the first time I saw it, like, it made me cry, and I loved the sister who is like so super weird, and I love Aubrey Plaza and their friend who stalks all of his friends and his brothers.
Daniel Levy is awesome in that. No,
he's always perfection.
Yeah.
So the problem I have with Happiest Season is that I'm not a big Kristen Stewart fan. And basically within a week, we saw Underwater, and then we saw this. And I was like, in 1 week, Laura and I have actually started to like Kristen Stewart. That is a travesty. Like, I do not know how to handle that conceptually. Like, I have disliked her as an actress for so long. Like, I'm having a hard time with it.
We have to be a little bit kind to her because she was going through an oppressive childhood of acting and not being able to be free sexually. Yeah. So just let her step into her own and love her.
I would also like to say that movie was labeled as a comedy.
Yes.
Happiest Season.
Absolutely. Nothing comedic about it, and I spent most of the time in horror about how awfully they were treating her, and it was really uncomfortable. That's the opposite of a comedy.
I think was it just a dark comedy?
Wait, what was that, Brittany?
Was it a dark comedy?
No, it's not a dark comedy. It's
not
just
in a traditional sense.
It has a meaning.
Have you ever watched a Medea movie?
Of course we've seen movies.
Okay, so you know that Medea is supposed to be comedy, but that at the end she stabs you somehow and makes you cry, right?
Or she cuts your couch in half with a chainsaw.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I think it's like it's more like that. It's more like this Christmas versus more like
honestly, the holiday season for us, it was one of those movies where we're watching it and we were appalled at how horrible. So for those of you who haven't seen it, we're not going to give away the plot, but Kristen Stewart is in a relationship with I forget the actress's name.
Mackenzie something.
Yeah, but anyways, the woman that she's in a relationship with has not come out to her parents, and her parents are like this picturesque middle of Massachusetts where everything has to be exactly perfect, and she's afraid that her parents won't accept her. So she invites the girlfriend to come with her, and they're going to ease her into the family by saying she's a roommate, and then after the holidays, she's going to come out to her parents, and at that point, she'll have made a great impression. They'll love her, so on and so forth. Yeah. And these people are horrible to Kristen Stewart. If you hate Kristen Stewart, you will love her by the end of this movie because these people are so horrible to her from the moment she walks in the door. Like, you're like, here's my F-bomb. Fuck these people.
I mean, and it's not even intentional. Like,
they're just awful people.
They're just awful people.
And I was like, why are they being this awful? And then it just gets
worse,
consistently worse until the end of the movie. I'm just like, burn these people's house to the ground.
This is the movie where Laura was talking about they need to hire Santa to come in and murder all the people. This is the family you go and murder.
This is the family that Santa would kill.
No, but Daniel came in there and fixed it. He fixed it.
Right, Daniel Levy comes up and fixes it. Yes, the magical gay. Come on,
he fixed it. Well, I mean, Daniel Levy helped fix it when everything got aired out. People were getting fixed. I don't know. I liked it. It kind of made me sob just a little, just a wee bit, and in that I emptied an entire roll of toilet paper because I was snot crying. But but what did I say? Oh yeah, and Scrooged.
Oh, Scrooge.
How did I forget Scrooge? Oh my God! Thank you.
Classic Scrooged is the one is my pick.
Yeah, Scrooged is amazing. And again, like I said, Happiest Season has stuff that's in it that's really good. Daniel Levy's in it. Aubrey is amazing. Aubrey Plaza's in it is amazing. Hell, Kristen Stewart going through what she has to go through in that movie plays it perfect. Like, she is spot on in this movie.
And I love that weird middle child sister.
The middle child sister's amazing. Perfect. The rest of that, like, just get that Santa Claus revved up and let him loose.
I thought the other sister was good at being a bitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Real good. Awesome. She had some one-liners that I was like, I need to use this if I ever want to, like, she goes up to this guy and this person's having a conversation with her and she goes, I don't want to have this conversation anymore, and just walks away. And I'm like, damn. To have that.
Yeah, Alison Brie as the bitchy sister is just, Alison Brie is just brutal in this movie. But no, it's an interesting movie, but I didn't have to pay for it. So that's always an upside. If I don't have to pay for it and I'm just, spending my time on it, it was definitely worth watching through one time. And I'm like, all right. And again, like I said, between that movie and Underwater, turned me around Kristen Stewart like in a week. And I'm like, all right, I'll try out more Kristen Stewart movies.
She's allowed to be now, you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. The child actor in me is like, yes, you go. You get yourself back.
Right? Like, I just,
And I actually liked her. See, I watched 3 Kristen Stewart movies this year, and the third one being Charlie's Angels. I hated the movie overall, but I loved her character.
It was funny. Like, what the hell? Yeah.
I did like her in, what was that, American Ultra?
Oh, yeah.
Where she was
where she was that one because I was still on the Kristen Stewart hate train.
But I was too, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. It was with Eisenberg, I think is his name.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg was in it, and he basically plays a person who's part of more or less a secret MK Ultra program, and he's with his girlfriend, and somebody trigger words him, and he just goes Terminator, but he doesn't understand why he's going Terminator, and he's a stoner. So they're like, "How did you kill that man with a bottle cap from across the across the street?" He's like, I got no idea.
I was like, why didn't I see that movie? And I was like, oh, it's Max. It's Max Landis. That's why I was like,
Max Landis.
Okay, that was before the Max Landis stuff came out more publicly for us. But you living in LA, you're there with it. But we didn't hear about that. So
I heard about it early. I'm there with you. My ears round. I got connections. So
that's
okay. You're the cool person. Sorry, I suck.
I didn't say that, Shaun. You said that. No.
So Brittany got disconnected. No, I'm playing.
I knew.
She knew I was going for the button.
I was like, I do have a, before you move on to any of the other ones, I did just see Hogfather because I had not seen it.
The Terry Pratchett movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a nice, fun, unconventional yet Christmassy movie, and I do love me some Terry Pratchett. So
Terry Pratchett is an interesting writer, and he could be fantastic or he can be garbage. And
the man is dead. How dare you speak ill of him?
Okay, not all of his works are perfect. I'm sorry, they're not. I mean, there are bad works of Terry Pratchett, but Hogfather is not one of them. Hogfather knew what the hell it was, and it went in and it crushes. But no, some of the movies I was going to suggest, I've been suggesting this one a lot lately because you can pretty much find it anywhere. If you have Shudder, you can watch this all over the place. But it's called it's called A Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah, that's on my list.
It's an anthology film. And it's framed, first off, it's framed by this attack at a mall where there's a man on the radio who basically is giving you the 411 that's happening in this town called Bailey Downs. And it's played by the incomparable William Shatner. Who, for a reminder, is Jewish, but is like the biggest fiend for Christmas in this movie. He was like, Christmas is my shit. It's amazing. I love everything about it. And he's telling you about basically how there's this horrible, horrible event. There's some kind of violence going on downtown at the mall. And he's telling you about this, and he's trying to keep people going with like these Christmas songs. And they cut between 4 other stories. And what's interesting is, unlike most anthology stories where they tell you the whole tale, what they do is they tell you each act of the story and then they cut to the next story. So they're traditionally laid out as 3-story acts. So you get about 10 minutes of a story, you cut to the next one. You get the intro act for that one, you cut to the next one. And then they come back around. So they all resolve at the end. It has one of the coolest twists that I've ever seen. And I can't give it away because it's just too delicious. But the thing that I tell people about is, if you want to know what one of these anthology stories is about, Santa is about ready to get his Christmas on in order to go and deliver all the presents when the Santa shows up, Krampus. And Krampus wants to take the North Pole and turn Christmas evil. And just his presence at the North Pole starts to corrupt all of the creatures and the beings that are living there. So the elves turn into like crazy zombies, and Santa basically has to go into a one-man war machine against his own people and fight Krampus. And this Krampus is like the most roided up Krampus you have ever seen in your life. Here, hold on, I'll bring one up for you
because I have no memory of this.
I need to see this. So is it kind of like the Halloween or the Christmas version of Trick or Treat? Being anthology, and they all kind of tie in together?
A little bit, yeah. They don't tie in directly, but they all happen in the same town. Here we go. This is pretty good fun.
Cool.
So let me open this up. All right.
No, I always keep something sweet in my house in case Sam knocks on my door.
You always. So here you go. Check this thing out. This guy is like freaking. This Santa is like freaking nuts. Let me see. Is that the right one? Yeah, there we go. Boom. Here we go. And boom. So that's your Krampus in this movie.
Oh, hey. Yeah. You take that head off. And I mean,
right.
He can talk.
He's got some teeth.
So yeah, this is
a little messy.
That's where all the reindeer. It's like an epic fight. But yeah, it's freaking crazy. This movie. But there's also a story about essentially changelings. So you have a whole story about, if you're not familiar with what a changeling is, it's basically about a little elf or demon that trades.
I remember that story.
Right, which trades places with a baby or a child. Same movie. There's a ghost story attached to it. There is an actual Krampus story that runs parallel to the Krampus versus Santa story. And there was another one. I forget what the other story was.
But they're children story, because I just learned that one, and that's crazy. The children that were pickled to death, and then Santa Claus had to bring them back to life, and then it was
what?
The Christmas pickle story.
No. That sounds like Rare Exports, though. That sounds a little bit like Rare Exports.
I just saw that this weekend too. It was so wow. I was not prepared.
Yeah, if you've not seen Rare Exports, that's another one. That's a Finnish movie, I think. I think it was from Finland.
Yes, yeah.
But that movie's about a little boy and his friend discovering the fact that there are these people who are mining on top of a mountain, and they think that they have found something.
It's going to be messed up if it's made by the Finns.
Yeah, they find this thing that's been buried there for like 700-800 years, and the little boy figures out it's the real Santa Claus, and he goes looking through all the old books, and he realizes that the real Santa Claus is somebody you never want to get out. And these people basically let Santa Claus out, and shenanigans happen. Now I'm glossing over a lot of stuff because I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's insane. This movie is legit insane.
Shenanigans happens is the light way of putting it.
And it ramps up too, because everyone kept telling me, they were like, again, also not spoiling, it's like it started off and I was just like, it's kind of slow, yes. but it also like there was no real horror element, but it really wasn't funny. It was very straight, and then it takes a sideways turn and shit get crazy. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's 100% true. And the thing that I think is really, oh my Lord, Anastasia just showed me the pickled thing. Hold on, I want to look at the pickled children thing real quick.
Santa saved the pickled children from a butcher who pickled them.
In 280 AD. What the hell?
280 AD? Okay.
Yeah, just yesterday.
Pickling French carol, La Legende de Saint Nicolas.
And then the butcher became like some other kind of like Krampus, but not. He does stuff to the naughty children by like beating them with a reed or something. I don't know.
That's why people put pickles on their Christmas tree?
No, it's completely different. I have no idea why people put pickles on their Christmas tree.
Oh, is that also a Finnish tradition?
Might be. Yeah, but one of the things about that, about Rare Exports, though, if you go and watch that movie, is it has a very hard story in the middle of it, which is there's the son and the father are like the two main characters, and the dad, it's clear, has recently just lost his wife, like within like the last year or so. And he's desperately trying to raise his son, but he's very much a Viking kind of guy, right? So he's got this very kind of like, I go out into the cold and I do my job, and he's a butcher, so he's butchering animals and whatnot. And he's very kind of terse with his son. And then he realizes at certain points, maybe I'm being a little too hard. And he's like, here, have a cookie, or hey, Merry Christmas. And the son kind of just rolls with it, you know? So it's almost like watching modern Vikings dealing with this Santa problem.
Hey, Shaun. Barron, I think that's how you say it. Berrien Springs, Michigan, is the Christmas pickle capital of the world.
And the Christmas pickle is a German tradition. So my other people, right. Of course, we do that.
When you find the pickle on the tree, you get an extra present from Santa Claus, or just the good fortune in the new year.
I'll take the good fortune at this point. Keep the presents, give us the fortune, Jesus.
What kind of present are we talking about, though? I need to see the present.
The pickle vibrates.
Oh.
Your faces. That was worth it. Totally worth it.
You too. So Rare is another good one. But like I said, Rare Exports. But I've been really pushing, like I said, A Christmas Horror Story. I discovered it a couple of years ago by accident. I thought it was going to be completely just like, I'm going to watch it one time, say I've seen it, and then just move on. And I've come back to that movie quite a few times because, again, I love the twist that happens in this movie. And the stories themselves are really interesting. Like I said, the ghost story is very atypical. And they all kind of have a mirroring to like the nativity or to like Christmas myths in general. So when you watch it, it's on rewatches, you'll kind of get why they told these stories. But it's a pretty interesting little setup. So if you want to check that out, that would be one I would suggest. Laura had already mentioned the fact that we watched Strange Days. I highly suggest it if you've never seen it. Catherine Bigelow, who won an Academy Award years later with The Hurt Locker, this was one of her first movies that she made, and it was really fantastic because of the fact that it was written by James Cameron. And if you don't know, James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow used to actually be married. And basically they were, I think they had just separated, or they were about, or they had separated shortly after this movie. But James Cameron was like, I really want you to make this movie because I believe that you can do it. And so basically he was like, this is the movie I want to make. I want you to attach Catherine Bigelow. And this was kind of her big break into making huge blockbuster movies. It's got Ray Fine in it. It's got, what the hell? I forgot his damn name all of a sudden. Hold on. I got to go look it up real quick. But the...
Which movie?
Strange Days. It has Tom Sizemore in it, who, as we've talked about before, is an actor who cannot live through a freaking movie. And Strange Days continues this tradition.
Mm-hmm. I love watching him.
Spoiler alert.
No, it's not too much of a. When it's Tom Sizemore in a movie, you assume he goes to die. When he doesn't die, that's the spoiler.
Yeah, he's like Sean Bean.
A little bit. He is like Sean Bean. But
Sean Bean is a good person.
Ooh, damn.
So Juliette Lewis is also in this, so there's a little tie to a Christmas Vacation with that one. But the standout like actress in this is Angela Bassett. I saw this movie and immediately like headcanon for the rest of my life, she should be Storm. Like this basically on the Angela Bassett train. Like I wasn't really familiar with who she was prior to this movie. I was all about Angela Bassett after this movie. I was like, watch her in this film. She basically plays a bodyguard limo driver, and she takes off.
Didn't they actually offer her the role and she turned it down?
I think she did. Yeah, I think she did
I'm
turn it down.
sure she was offered the role.
But what I do know is that at one point they convinced her to take off her jacket, and she was wearing a sleeveless shirt, and she showed off them guns, and I was like, oh man,
she's always been ripped.
I know, ripped. But so the whole plot of this movie is that basically this private detective who was formerly a cop sells these experiences on the black market. And by experiences, I literally mean like you can wear this device on your head and you can record your experiences and you can play them back.
It's like the Ready Player One head thing.
Right, except you actually
Ready Player Two.
Right. Except you can actually experience everything that person is going through. So it's become this huge black market industry where people are basically selling experiences. So if you want to, have an affair without actually tarnishing your wedding ring, or try to, one of his friends doesn't have legs from an accident, so he goes running on the beach and he'll record it so his friend can have the sensation of running on the beach, things like that. He gets a delivery, and in the delivery, this person is basically murdering somebody, and he has to figure out who's murdering these women because they are people close to him. And it becomes a huge whodunit movie, and it all happens at the fall of 1999, right as we're about to go into the year 2000. Jim Cameron actually wrote he called it the 2K. He was off by one letter. We obviously know Y2K. He just called it 2K. Everybody get ready for 2K. There's all kinds of craziness that happens, and there are plots within plots. It is a gritty, noir-driven movie. It will absolutely shake you, and it should. But it is a fantastic movie. And I'm telling you, if you've never seen this, Angela Bassett alone is worth the price of admission. But Ray Fiennes is also amazing in it. He plays a great role. Everybody in it is pretty fantastic. But I always push the Angela Bassett aspect of it because she slays in this freaking movie. But yeah, those would be my choices to kind of put you guys into holiday-ish fun and joy. And I'm proud of everybody. Not one person picked Die Hard the original. We got Die Hard 2. Yeah. But that's because we got to go see our girl now, which you do know that as soon as we're done with this, Laura and I are going to go downstairs. We're going to put that movie on. And we're going to try to find you.
I love it.
We're going to try to go find
Christmas is residual season for me, starting with Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas. I love it.
Residual checks from Die Hard 2? Do you still get like a little like?
I do, and from other Christmas stuff I did. So yeah.
Is it enough to like buy a cup of coffee, or enough to like go to England?
Movie.
How about Die Hard 2? Is Die Hard 2 enough for a cup of coffee, or is it more of just like a pride thing where you get like?
It's a good dinner.
Oh,
yeah, it's a good dinner. Like the Addams Family, they're good dinners. And then like Radio Flyer doesn't even buy me half a like stick of gum. So
what you're telling me is when COVID is over, I can fly out and we can go to the Frolic Room on your residuals and it'll be a good night.
Yes. Yes.
Down.
I'm sorry that you're in Radio Flyer though. That
I just did the soundtrack, so
I'm like, oh god, Radio Flyer. Oh
no, I just did the soundtrack. If couldn't get me that close to Elijah Wood, I would be like, oh.
For anyone who's been paying attention to it, there's a live stream right now.
Oh. It happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It can't be a live stream.
It's still happening.
Yeah, it'll still happen for a couple days. Yeah, yesterday was the best time, but it'll still happen.
We ain't seen it in LA, so it's okay.
Yeah, but anybody who sees Radio Flyer, don't. It's literally about a red wagon. That's just don't.
I thought it was. I think I remember seeing it in the theater, and I was like, "Aw." But that's all I remember.
Yeah,
no.
It is about child abuse and the escape
and trying to escape. I don't remember.
And the escapism on the Radio Flyers. It's a whole thing. But
no, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Cuba Gooding Jr. in Radio.
Very different movie.
Wow.
You're
radio. You're going to see like Cuba Gooding Jr. And you're like, oh, he's going to be so cute and adorable. And you're like, trauma of like 9-year-olds that are just getting beaten by.
Yeah, I do remember Radio Flyer. I did block it out, but then I think I just replaced it with Radio, a mentally challenged black man who wants to be a part of the football team. It's fine.
Oh,
it's fine.
Lord.
Is that really better? I don't know.
I don't think it is. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Either one sounds bad.
I mean, if you had to pick one over the other, I'd pick Radio over Radio Flyer. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Woo, that was so funny. Like they gave me hot flashes. Holy shit. I'm not old enough for hot flashes. Jesus, I'm about to strip out of this onesie.
Okay, so we've been going now for a while, but before we get out of here, we didn't get a chance to talk about one thing, and this is just me personally because I talked to Christina and Brittany about this last Thursday. What'd you think of The Stand?
I need to watch the newest.
more.
I haven't watched it, so
Okay, well, don't tell anything. But
don't. I have to watch it.
You sure do.
Okay, because like I forgot that it was coming out this week, and so now I feel like naked. Like I feel like my life is over. Actually, that I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, episode 1 was on the 17th, and we get the next episode on Christmas Eve.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys want to talk about it, I'll exit.
There's not a lot to talk about.
Okay, there's really not a lot to talk about. But what did you think of the first episode, Brittany? Did you like it?
Being a Stephen King fan and loving The Stand, and I have, oh my God, I should have pulled it out. I've got the double VHS cassette of The Stand from when it came out, and I like to,
We got the DVD, yeah.
VHS, baby, VHS. I'm gonna go hipster on you. I don't have a VHS player right now, but I got it.
VCR?
Yes, otherwise known as a VCR. Otherwise known as a VHS player. Shut up, Christina. I liked it. I like where they're going. I was a little, it's not a spoiler, but it doesn't start at the very beginning like the book, and like they kind of cut that first bit out, and I don't know, I didn't know how I felt about it, but I like where they're going. I like a couple of the cameos that they had that they've never mentioned who was gonna be in it. One in particular, I was super excited to see him.
You talk about a certain military commander?
Yeah. I was like, oh, they never mentioned him. What is this? I like the bits that they've added and tweaked. I'm okay with it so far. Like, I very much am just like, don't hurt my baby. Like, it's hard to get Stephen King right.
It really is.
To me, the mini series of The Stand was pretty, especially at least for the time, was pretty spot.
For the time, yes,
was spot on. And then I know there's a little bit of controversy that's coming out. Apparently, like, they wanted the person who played Nick, they thought he should be an actual deaf person, and then they did. Wait, did I get that right? Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. Which obviously we're not there, but like just controversies, and and then people had problems with because we have Ezra Miller in it, and then because he's problematic, and I'm just kind of like,
Ezra Miller.
Wait,
why is Ezra Miller problematic right now? What did he do?
Ezra Miller is.
What did the Flash do?
Did he beat someone up? I think he got really violent with some fans, and apparently he said some messed up stuff.
I did not know that.
Yeah, go ahead, Laura. Look up Ezra Miller controversy. But anyway, from first episode alone, really digging it. I am really mad that it's this week after week bullshit. Like, give me my binge-tastic bullshit where I can just watch it and not have to wait.
There's a video that surfaced of him choking.
Yes. The girl.
And then pushing her to the ground.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, and she was like a fan or something. Like, he has anger issues. He's apparently. Yeah, it's been a little while. A little while, but
okay. So this happened in April.
It's 2020. I don't know.
A group of fans at a bar. One of them approached him, waving her hands in the air, to which he responded, "Do you want to fight?" He then proceeded to wrap both hands around the woman's neck, pushed her against a dumpster, and then to the ground. The man filming appears to be initially unfazed, but as the woman hits the ground, he begins to grow concerned, starting to repeat, "Whoa, bro, bro, bro," and then immediately stop the recording.
And then apparently, there was another incident, I think, later. He just has anger issues, apparently, which really sucks.
I'm just telling you.
It sucks because he's supposed to have been becoming like this icon, like he's come out and he's okay with his gender fluidity and all this other, you could be that person, but I need you to get your anger issues in check, bro.
Yeah, go to therapy.
Anyway, aside from that, aside from apparently some choices that they've made, that people have issues with, which what are you going to do? People always have issues with what, but I'm on board. The changes that have been made so far, I don't have any issues with, really.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat on that one. You know, I enjoyed the first episode. I was a little mad at some of the music cues because there are music cues that are in the book that I was expecting to be there, and they weren't there. Like when "Don't Fear the Reaper" does not play, I'm like, why don't they have "Don't Fear the Reaper"? Like that got on my nerves. But it's not like the music cue they did choose was bad. It just I was ready for the Reaper. I was ready for it. It didn't happen.
Maybe we'll get it later.
Maybe, but the flip side of that is the reveal of how that officer, and this is not giving anything away in The Stand. You all know that at the beginning of The Stand, the military officer, I forget the guy's family name, but he leaves the military base where Captain Trips gets out, and he's patient zero basically that gets it out. They've never really just shown it this way before, and the way he gets out is a trifle.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I could say without giving anything away. But it's a great trifle, and I love it. And I was like, nice. So because they gave me that, I forgive no reapering. So I'm okay with it. But I think my biggest hope is I hope that they find a way to give us a couple of no big losses. But the way they've set this story up, it looks like we're going to be following 2 or 3 characters in the first 4 or 5 episodes. I don't see them going off on a tangent for 5 minutes just to show somebody get killed with like a refrigerator, or have an AC unit fall out, or have somebody attacked by dogs in the middle of the street. Like I don't think they're going to give us those cul-de-sacs, because that was what was cool about the book, was they would introduce characters and you think they're going to become main characters, and then they become a no big loss character, which is you get 40 pages with them and then they're dead. I would love to have 1 or 2 of those moments happen in the series, because it's like 10 episodes, 12 episodes. It's supposed to be a fairly long series. It's not like only 3 or 4. It's supposed to be like at least I think 8 episodes. Let me see. Do we?
I'm googling.
I'm googling.
We're all googling. All hell, Lord Google. While we're googling, Christina, what did you think about it?
Yeah, what do you think, Christina?
You know what? I haven't watched the original Stand, nor have I read the book.
Okay.
But I have the book. It's I just got the book, but
stabbing you with my lightsaber.
I like it so far. I am excited to see Alexander Skarsgård as Randall Flagg.
Yeah.
I don't like his hair.
Not that Matthew McConaughey wasn't a good Flagg, but that movie wasn't right.
I really wish Matthew McConaughey had been brought back to be Flagg. That would have been because that would have been a nice touch to bring them together.
But Skarsgård is also another great fit, and he plays evil up really well.
Yeah. By the way, it's 9 episodes, just FYI.
Mm-hmm.
And this just continues to be like another Stephen King medium where a Skarsgård is a main role.
Right. they put the Skarsgårds in all the choice meaty areas now. They're like, let them go forth and make good Stephen King. We haven't gotten a great look at Randall Flagg yet. Like we get like wisps, which is what happens at the beginning of The Stand. You don't get it for a while, So I like what they're doing with him. I love the fact that he's got that bouffant almost kind of hair and all the promos.
I love his hair.
Like,
the promos,
the promos where the hair is just going up to infinity and then down. Like I love that look. I'm really curious to see how well it plays out. I think for me, when it comes down to it, I think this is going to be a pretty epic version of it. And I'm really afraid, because that means that we've gotten it and The Stand, 2 arguably of the hardest adaptations to do in the Stephen King mythos, which means that now they're going to go for lower hanging fruit and they're probably going to screw it up. And I'm a little.
Stop it.
Langoliers, woman. Like,
we do not talk of the Pac-Man movie.
It's my favorite awful movie.
There are so many more. Like, what would be a really good one to see in a long format like The Stand would be Needful Things. Like,
First off, I love the book. I love the movie. It's almost goddamn perfection. Yeah. I don't. No, I take it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Leave it alone. Needful Things is so good. Yeah, Dark Tower got butchered apparently,
yeah.
but
no, it wasn't apparently. It got shot up.
It was.
Like
it's
it got murderfied. It was murderfied badly, and I
Going
was
to
like,
check on puppy 1, BRB.
she's downstairs sleeping, Laura. She's fine. Okay, never mind. She don't believe
Laura's
it.
like, fucking him out. I mean,
Yeah.
oh well, whatever.
But yeah, I mean that it really is. She's just downstairs sleeping.
Well, I'm still going to check.
Okay. But yeah, the Dark Tower, it was a great opportunity. It was really something I was looking forward to, and they pooched it so hard. And the messed up part is the first book, or even the first 2 books of the Dark Tower, is such an easy adaptation. But they have you seen it, Brittany? Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I totally watched it. I've made an excuse for it as well. It's another turn of the wheel. It's not supposed to be, which is why we have a black Roland. It's why
black.
I know you don't care that he's black, but several people did because he needs to look like Clint Eastwood. And I'm like, look, I get that. And there were other, because then they're like, if you're going to continue it, you're going to have Odessa, and how does that happen? And I just, like I said, it's not meant to be a complete faithful adaptation of the books. It's another turn of the wheel, so things can be different. Yeah. That's how I tried to. And in general, if it wasn't a Dark Tower movie, I think it would have been an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I think what they did is I think they did kind of what happened with Justice League, which is instead of them trying to build up the world and to earn that moment, the Dark Tower moment, where you finally have them crossing worlds and, they're jumping between places, and that because that confrontation is like the middle of the damn, almost the end of the damn story. They just jump to it. And I think we needed the character build. And I think honestly that production that they had worked on for years, going back, I think Ron Howard was developing it for a long time, where it was supposed to be a miniseries first, and then it was going to spin off into a movie after that. That I still think would have probably been the better way to go.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's not what we got. But maybe we'll get another turn at the wheel again. And like I said, I have no problem with great. Now my brain's blanking on his damn name. Help me.
Which
Idris Elba?
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
My brain kept thinking E name, and I was going Ezra Miller, and I'm like, no, not Ezra Miller.
Sounds E with
no, but yeah. See, I just did it again.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Damn it. But Idris Elba, like I love him. He's fantastic. He can be rolling any day of the week, no problems. Matthew McConaughey can be the Man in Black, no problem. I have zero issues with those roles. Yeah. I just have issues with everything around it. I like that Anastasia was muted until I said Matthew McConaughey's fine. She's like, no.
I'm eating.
I like that. She's like, this is worth me getting.
Okay.
No, I feel you. But no, but like I said, I just.
Who was in that dragon movie?
Who was in that dragon movie?
When Matthew McConaughey was in that dragon movie, he was fine.
And
Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire, yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Wasn't his first movie Texas Chainsaw New Millennia or something? Or the new
yeah.
And he sued them to try to not let them release that movie. He actually tried to sue them to not release that Texas Chainsaw movie.
Whatever.
Yeah, but nah.
We should totally do a whole thing about Stephen King stuff, I thought we did, but maybe we never got to it.
We probably did on Shaun Castic. We probably actually did a Shaun Castic episode where we dove into Stephen King stuff. But I mean, yeah, at this point, I think The Stand, it's their game to lose. I think from what I've seen in the first episode, I think they've got it. And we've got 8 episodes for them to prove me wrong. And I hope they don't, because I love that 4-hour miniseries. But my biggest complaint about that 4-hour miniseries is that it's just too damn short.
Yeah.
I wanted more time in that world. Plus, honestly, almost every actor they had in that original series, what was that, 1993, 4, something like that?
I think it was like 1990. I think. Let's to the internet. By the way, Christina, if you want to watch it, because you need to, they do have it on YouTube.
Yeah, 94.
And
yeah.
And the year of 94 was a big year.
Oh yeah, that 94 was a big year. Like, we got some really good music out of that year. I won't go on that tangent.
Oh no, we can't go music because we'll be here all night. But no, seriously, like, Gary Sinise as Stu was fantastic. Molly Ringwald as Franny, I thought was like, she crushed it. Rob Lowe as Nick Andros, I thought was great. I mean, everybody around it. Ruby Dee as Mother Abigail. Like, even now, I see Whoopi Goldberg and I'm like, that's not Mother Abigail. Like, I think of Ruby Dee. Like, And I mean, I'm sure that once Whoopi Goldberg finally like gets a chance to truly like be Mother Abigail, like when they finally get to, I forgot the name of the town.
Come on, Shaun, get it.
Come on. Home. My brain's tripping on it. I'm going to Boulder for some stupid reason.
Yeah, well, it's Colorado.
Well, no, but she's not in Colorado. She's in shit. Now I got to go look it up. Hold on. Where does she live? She was in Nebraska. Hemingford
Home. Yeah,
Hemingford Home.
Colorado. Yeah, Nebraska.
Yeah, they moved to. Yeah, they eventually go to Boulder, Colorado. That's where they set up the new town. But yeah, once we get to that point, I think she's going to crush it. I think she's going to be great. The only person who I think is described perfectly in the book, and I think they got the right actor for it at the time, but I agree with Laura. He is not a great Randall Flagg, is Jamie Sheridan. Jamie Sheridan, I think the way he's described in the book, I think he looks exactly like what I imagined in the book. But yeah,
not a fan.
I'm not a fan. He's not the guy I would have gone with. I think the Man in Black. I think
he should be more attractive, but in like a slimy kind of way.
Yeah, I think that he needs to be. He's basically the embodiment of the devil. So the devil in my brain is always Lucifer Morningstar, right? Like he's the angel.
Oh yeah.
So
for all we know, he looks different to everybody. So
well, yeah, turn of the wheel, right? So but that's really the only complaint. And again, that's not to take away from his performance. Jamie Sheridan crushed that performance. He's awesome as Randall Flagg. He just didn't quite look the way I was expecting. But I think if you're looking at all the character actors who are in this movie, if you don't talk about Matt Frewer as Trash Can.
Yes. Oh, he was so good. Matt Frewer, like back in the day, like that time was it. I loved him in everything. Like he couldn't, even as the Cat in the Hat. I loved him.
I am all about him. I'm like, I cannot wait, to see what happens with the new Trash Can Man. And Ezra Miller is supposed to be new trash, right?
Marilyn Manson is.
I could have sworn Ezra Miller.
It's Ezra Miller. Yeah,
because I think Marilyn Manson was cut.
Yeah, I think they were going to go with him, and then they were like, or at least it was a rumor. Who knows? Whatever. I'm just.
Apparently they're actually bringing in some of the other trash people from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get some.
Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter. She's like the trash can woman or trash can lady, and I was like, oh,
rat something.
Or yeah, she's the rat woman, rat lady. Yeah. So.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think she's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. I think they got a great cast, and I'm very excited to see what happens. My biggest complaint is that, like Brittany said, I got to wait every single freaking week until this gets done. But it's going to get me through election or the inauguration, and I'm okay with that. I need distractors, and I'll take every distractor I can all the way through January. Just get me through it, man.
How dare you bring up politics?
How dare
he can't help it.
I can't. It's on my brain all the time. So it's hey, the fact that that's the first time I brought it up in almost 3 hours is good for me. Okay. So
speaking of 3 hours.
Yeah, we're done.
I've been texting. I'm like,
they just gotta go to bed. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm.
Some of us have to go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
You mean this girl? Like, I actually have to get in a car and drive to an office. I just don't have to roll out of bed and turn over. So shut it.
Hey, I rolled out of bed for an 8 a.m. meeting this morning. So
oh no,
I'm pooped.
Here's Cat Gangster's like bed. Yeah, to be fair,
I wasn't wearing pants while I was at that meeting. I
don't hear nothing.
And to be fair, if anybody gets like the endurance medal of the night, it's going to be Cat Gangster because it started at 2 a.m. and it's now 5 a.m. their time. So,
well, thank you for listening.
Right, thank you for hanging out. But no, we'll be back. I'm not sure. It'll be probably sometime this weekend or early next week. I'll check with the ladies.
One more show and tell.
Okay, hold on. Let's let Laura go.
Oh yeah, that's the fabric you forgot you bought.
Yeah, the new fabric.
Can I have a mask of that?
No.
I was like, wow.
She doesn't have a lot of that fabric, actually. There's not
I only bought it half a yard because this was really expensive. And I'm gonna do Christmas ornaments with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, then I want a Christmas ornament.
She's like, so
I'm gonna do those antique quilted ornaments that people used to make where
those are cute.
And Baby Yoda's gonna be in the middle, and then around him will be a star and the colors that like complement this. Yeah. I have enough maybe to make like 20 ornaments.
Oh wow.
So
yeah.
So before I get out of here, I actually have a question for Brittany and Christina. They do not know this is coming. Anastasia, you're more than welcome to jump in on this train, but this is going to take us back to something. I got to talk to Mike, but we got American Gods season 3 coming up.
I know.
Oh my god.
Are we gonna muscle it, or are we on boycott? Because last time we talked, we were talking boycott because of all the shenanigans that happened behind.
And I know I'm still kind of iffy on it, but I saw the promos. And I'm just like, I need it.
Look, I don't know who we need to talk to, but I think we need to see if we can get an early screener so we can start it. I know we're a little bit behind for the early screener, but maybe we can talk to some people.
Jenna's still in good with stars.
She totally is. I almost reached out to her and was like, hey girl, whatever swag you get, because she gets so much great swag, but like, give me that American God swag.
I miss the Stars marketing team. They were so nice.
They're still in my email. I need to be like, hi, give me some shit.
I actually got an email from someone, but because they were leaving and they wanted me to know. So
you should be like, so who is the person I need to get?
No, we came up with a statue for Sideshow, and they didn't give us a free statue. I pay for everything I got.
Damn.
Yeah, look, that the Sideshow has told me flat out. Yeah, we became inspired by your idea. We made it to a statue. They didn't give me a statue though.
I didn't even get a free statue.
I'm down for American Gods, even if in the end we end up like bashing the shit out of it, which I don't think we will. I mean, I know I'm gonna watch it.
I just hope that this upcoming season is like a misstep, and they realize that they screwed up, and they find a way to make nice with Orlando Jones, because Anansi does need to come back at some point in the future. So I would like for them to find a way to heal that rift with a lot of the actors. They burned a lot of bridges, and I know that it's probably a budgetary thing. Stars is trying to keep it under budget, but they could have handled it in such a better way.
They also dropped Musha Kraish, though, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's Musha Kraish.
No, we didn't lose the Jinn.
No
way. I think the only person we lost was Orlando.
But I remember him tweeting out that he specifically said that they didn't ask him back, even though they are keeping Omid.
Shaun.
Yes, who was also on The Mandalorian.
Facebook, this will go full circle back to the beginning so that we can elegantly segue out. Go to Facebook, go to your messenger, and bring it up on screen.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Lord.
What, a messenger? Oh, that's just for you.
I was like, what? I'm over here like, where do I need to go? But yeah, long story short, I'd be down for it. Because I mean, I don't mean to like bring people down, but just because 2020 is ending doesn't mean 2021 is gonna be any better out the gate.
On that one, no. We got to go with the most positive expectations for 2021. For the love of God, like don't know. See, Brittany's that person, so she.
I'm a realist. I'm heartbroken in his design. What? That? Oh my god! That is dark and wonderful.
Wow.
It took me a second, but
like there needs to be like a line here at the bottom next to the macaroon. Like, wait, oh crap! Like,
yeah, that's dark.
There we go, folks. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Speaking of
Laura, do you want me to make those macaron cookies for you?
Oh, no, wow.
Snaps.
I like that Shaun was like, we need to be positive. 2021 is going to be great. Hey. Laura's like, hold my beer.
It's positive. He told baby Grogu not to go to school tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Which also links into Ezra Miller in his movie We Need to Talk About Kevin, which talks about a school massacre. So cool.
With a bow and arrow.
Which is fucking great. Guys, you should totally watch We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Yeah. It also has
I remember that.
Tilda Swinton, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, yeah.
And what's his name? Curly hair. John C. Reilly is the dad.
It's a movie.
Yep.
I mean, look, I say that it's a bad movie. Sometimes you don't have the words because there are some movies. That movie and The Dirties are two movies that I have a hard time watching just because it's
The Dirties.
It's The Dirties. It's about so just like the Ezra Miller movie, The Dirties is basically about two boys who are picked on a lot at school, and they have issues, and so they start kind of having this role play fantasy, like wouldn't it be cool if we just shot up the school?
Yikes!
And so at some point during their fantasy role play, one of them starts to take it seriously, and the other one doesn't, and stuff happens. So,
all right. Well,
like I said, same vein of the movie, except with Ezra Miller movie, it's a lot more. Also, it's almost like The Good Son a little bit. If you've never seen this, it has a little bit of it actually evil is the product of a bad house.
Or even better, you should just watch the original, what it's based off of, which is The Bad Seed.
Which is like 1957.
The old Bad Seed.
Yeah. The original from like 1950, it's like about 57, right?
Yeah, I have that on VHS.
I love it. Patty McCormick? Patty McCormick.
Yeah.
Look, all I gotta say is this, and I'm gonna spoil it. You've never been so happy for a lightning bolt to hit a kid. That's all I'm saying, all right?
Hey!
You've never been so happy.
That's a big spoiler. Cut him off. Where's his mic? Mute him.
How do we make Shaun go away? Let me just cover him up on the screen. Wait, no, that doesn't work. That worked. Good enough.
I got some artist tape. Let me just put it over his camera.
Because that movie, literally, God was like, die. Like,
Shaun, no more talking about the good scene.
Good Son. How dare you spoil you mofo? Ugh.
I'm sorry. I haven't had a chance to talk about that movie with anybody in so long. And you guys,
good night, folks. Good night. I'm just
we're out.
I hate you all. I hate you.
Follow everybody on.
She pieced out so fast.
The Irish goodbye.
She is a master at that. But me too.
Bye.
Me too. Bye.
Bye, people.
Bye.
Bye.